been a little tricky, BP. Has a tendency to surprise you.
Well, I tell you what, I could not believe the NASCAR Busch Series last night. So many guys, great race car drivers. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Casey Mears.
Matt Kenseth
just losing control by themselves.
We'll see what happens. Round 5 of the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. Scott Riggs bringing them to the green flag. The Bank of America 500 is underway. Bonus points for chaser Casey Kane.
Oh, trouble! Already one lap into it. Denny Hamlin goes around. Jamie McMurray goes around.
Almost identical to the Busch race last night. Denny Hamlin is in it.
Denny Hamlin, yeah, they're gonna.
Jeff Gordon.
I think Jeff just stopped. I'm not sure he got in it. There's a lot of those guys just quit, you know, when they were wrecking there. So Gordon looks pretty clean. Denny Hamlin's in big trouble. He's got a lot of damage to that car, and BP, this isn't one of those places you can just do a patch job and get around this racetrack fast. I mean, it's a body. You got to have the body right on this car.
I saw Robbie Gordon in the 7 car. There we see Robbie Gordon come down and make contact. He gets loose, and somehow I think behind him they started checking up, and Denny got ran in the back of, I'm sure.
Well, what happened? The 4 car. Todd Bodine got loose in front of Robbie Gordon. I think Robbie Gordon had to check up.
Oh, man.
Denny Hamlin got turned.
By the 49 car of Mike Bliss, whom Bliss goes head on in the wall.
The field
Jeff Gordon did stop.
Field being brought down pit road. The pits are closed. Here's Denny Hamlin.
Not much you can do when you get run over in a situation like that.
Oh, he's still getting run over.
Too. Yeah.
On board with Kurt Busch.
Everything's cool. Check up. They're wrecking all over the place. Everything's cool behind you. About 1 high, 2 low. Just fly back up. Just hold on. Hold on right there. Don't back up high. Just easy.
That's
it. You see him right there?
Real good job
right
on the spotter
cool.
right there.
That was a great job, wasn't
Very
it?
good job.
We saw so many of those drivers. We saw Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Biffle, all those guys stop before they got to the wreck.
Very fortunate for some of those guys at the tail end of the field. First caution of the night by bonus points for Casey Kane. He did lead that first lap.
Boy, there was a lot of loose race cars on that first lap.
You know, that's the problem. The tire that and we'll talk about this all night long, the hard tire. And the right side is extremely hard. They soften up the left side a little bit. But, man, when those things are cold, they really are a handful.
Let's check in with Marty Snyder.
And Denny Hamlin has pulled the 11 FedEx car into the garage here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. You can see the experience of the Joe Gibbs Racing team. Obviously have championships with Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart. They already have a frame straightener back here. They had a complete crash cart ready to go in case this would have happened. They obviously did not expect it on lap 1, however. A lot of damage to the right rear of the car, also to the left front of the car. They're going to try to get those 2 things fixed and get them out as quickly as they can. I doubt Denny even drops the window net. He has yet to do that so far, but a lot of repairs to make on the 11 car, but it looks fairly repairable at this point, guys.
Thanks, Marty. So it took a lap before trouble unfolded here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Denny Hamlin, one of the men in the chase for the championship, taking a big hit.
It's all about before and after.
I'm good. Boyer's in a hurry.
Yeah, 10-4. We're discussing that up here now.
Topping in a blend of mozzarella, creamy ricotta, and Parmesan.
Stick right here. And just a small dry there on the apron of 1, and then you got it's all the way down. They're calling now. NASCAR saying. Chad. 4.
America. By the Ford Mustang, bold moves, they happen every day. By UPS, proud sponsor of Dale Jarrett's 88 Ford, go Dale go. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of NASCAR. And by State Farm, great service, great rates. That's why 40 million drivers trust State Farm. Still under caution here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. We got 1 lap in, then a bunch of trouble. Marty?
Yeah, Denny Hamlin back here in the garage area. Came in 5th in the championship standings, 51 points out, and we'll get a word with him, Denny. That was kind of early, wasn't it? What happened?
It looked like 7. He got loose or something off of turn 4, and you know, we checked up, and somebody else didn't, and it's a chain reaction. I mean, you know, I kind of put myself back there qualifying that bad, so it's part of it, I guess. I mean, we're gonna just keep on fighting.
You had an initial assessment of the damage. What was your take?
It's not as bad as I thought, actually, as many times I got hit. So, you know, I was trying to be cautious, and you know, cautious isn't always the best way to get through a wreck. But you know, it's unfortunate, but we haven't had a lot of incidents like that all year long. So we'll take our lumps and go on. Yeah,
at least you've had a fairly mistake-free chase up until the last 2 weeks. Any comfort in that?
Well, you know, it's bad that we you know, we're having these problems in the chase. We're fortunate that we did make the chase, but you know, we want to capitalize and run more well. So you know, I hate it for these FedEx guys. I hate giving them any extra work that they don't need to do. But you know, we're going to get back in this deal and do the best we can.
Had problems last week at Talladega and in the garage early tonight. And Mike Ford, real quick, told the guys, I think we can get this repaired fairly quickly. And everybody from Joe Gibbs Racing is down here trying to get this 11 car back out on the racetrack.
Thanks, Marty. There you see the drivers involved in the crash. The only chaser involved is Denny Hamlin. Denny has only 1 DNF this season. That was an accident at Martinsville. And as Marty talked about, had trouble last week at Talladega, finished 21st, his worst finish in the last 21 races. Still under caution here in the Bank of America 500 at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
Yo, Chuck, where are you?
I'm staring.
Maybe you need insurance to help protect you.
Sucks for track position, but that was a good catch there, M-Dub. We'll be coming around to the green. They say we're coming to the green, but they've got a couple of trucks here on the front straightaway. We'll see.
Fuel mileage. Well, America is losing the fuel mileage race.
But there's something you can do to win.
Make sure you keep your car properly tuned with plug.
And that thing was packed with grass. All right, pace car's off. We got 2 trucks on the apron, but just be ready. You ready?
Green flag's in the air, and they put the caution back out because they still had safety vehicles on the track in turns 1 and 2.
What in the world?
What were they thinking?
They got about 3 trucks still out on the racetrack.
And some guys haven't seen it yet. They wave the green with safety vehicles. You see them there, still on the track, on the apron between turns 1 and 2.
And in a situation like that, I have seen some huge crashes because of that. And never now, what in the world is going on? They kept saying they were going to throw the green flag, and we saw.
I know, we saw these trucks on the racetrack. We're like, this is going to get exciting.
Well, thank goodness everyone slowed down, backed off, whatever it took to avoid collisions.
So we're back under caution. Never really went green, although a lot of guys tried, because that's what the flag was. Let's get an update from Dave.
In the unusual category, Bill, I'm just checking the other end of pit road. The lights are on again on the turn 4 side of pit road. They were off at the beginning of that sequence. Jeff Gordon was one of the cars that pitted under that first caution. They want to make sure that he didn't flat spot the tires. Remember, he was way back in the line, and he rode through some debris. Wanted to just make sure everything was okay on those tires, so they changed 4 and topped him off with fuel in the dark. Alan.
Carl Edwards has been on pit road. He got a piece of that first wreck, some damage to the nose of the car. They have worked over the front fenders a little bit. They are also very careful to check the grill opening to make sure there's air to get to the radiator and keep that machine cool. He is all the way near the back of the line.
Alan, I'll tell you, the front end on that 99 car looks awfully good. I don't see any damage at all.
Yeah, they did a little cosmetic work to fix it up, BP. They got away pretty luckily.
Now here's the restart a moment ago. There's the field coming up to speed. And then you see the yellow flag come out right away.
But the caution lights never went to green.
I was going to say, I saw red and it looked like a red and yellow light right to the left of the flag stand that was still blinking.
I tell you what, that safety truck back in the back sitting there, he would have thought something had gone by about 180 miles an hour, wouldn't he?
When he looked in his mirror, he was in for a big surprise.
The number of drivers near the back of the field on and off of pit road under the first caution. We had 1 lap of green, then 7 laps of caution. And now the field has gotten the 1 to go, and we'll try and go back to green next time by. Our AutoZone in the zone drivers here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Mark Martin, 17 top 5 finishes in his career. Greg Biffle and Carl Edwards have run well here, but Jimmy Johnson has pretty much owned the place.
There must be another page to this, because Jimmy Johnson, we got to talk about him. But the last 5 races, he's won 4 and finished second. The other one, phenomenal.
Been very successful here.
Stewart's been on pit lane a couple times now. Marty, what's going on down there?
Trying to fix a little right rear damage he got in that lap 1 crash, Wally. It's really not that bad. They really were more trying to fix the right rear quarter panel, right where it came around to the rear bumper cover. So you can see the patch they put on that, and there's a little hole on the back of the bumper cover they're a little concerned about, but they are probably going to run out of time to fix that under this caution. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of more cautions to fix the damage tonight.
The way it's going, you're right on it, Marty.
And folks, where you see that piece of orange tape on the quarter panel back there, that is a high downforce area, so they want to get that as fixed as well as they can.
But better there than the front. I mean, you know, the front's a little bit more important, but you're right, BP, that spot there is important as well.
As we get ready for the restart here at Charlotte, Coke invites you to drink it down and start it up.
Scott Riggs a little bit loose there.
It's okay, teammate. You've got the 5 points. Don't be greedy. Me back in front.
See, these guys are wiggling around quite a bit. It's the first time these guys have been on the racetrack at night in these cool conditions.
And Benny, what are you thinking? 7, 8, 9 laps to get the heat in those tires?
Well, probably not that many, Bill. Probably 4 or 5 to get some heat in the tires, though. Ever see Riggs in that 10 car going for the lead?
As Benny pointed out, these are teammates. Will drive for Ray Evernham. Riggs back to the front. There's Casey Mears in third. Had an exciting Saturday or Friday night here at Lowe's. Update on car 9 from Matt Yoakum.
Bill, under the previous caution, Casey was telling his team that the track was cold, the car was a little bit loose. He was going to try to be patient, take it easy. That's why he didn't push it. Remember, back in May, he dominated here, won, but not with this race car. He feels like this is actually going to be a better race car for tonight than the 600 winner. This was the All-Star car.
Kasey Kahne has led in all 6 of his starts here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
And Wally, we've got ourselves a race going on back here, don't we?
Yeah, we're watching a lot of. They were just 3 wide. Most of these guys are 2 wide now. These guys are side by side. There's a lot of cars moving around on the track right now.
Cars trying their best to get to the front. The 06 Todd Cleaver trying to go by Michael Waltrip in 55.
And when you're running this fast around this racetrack and you're running this close and these cars are this loose, I'm telling you what, these guys are hanging on for dear life right now because it's tough.
And 20 of the guys in this race raced last night, so they know what they're in for. The rest of them watched it and know what they're in for.
Right. See Tony Stewart there, he's working in that pack a little bit.
And here the 07 car. That is Clint Bowyer, the 3rd car out of Richard Childress Racing.
Oh, we got trouble in 4. Got a guy going around right now.
Oh, nice winner.
Back into you. Be ready here.
Dave Blaney won last night. An early victim tonight. And just to keep you straight on the scoring, this is only the 2nd caution period because NASCAR says they never went back to green earlier. Don't look at me like that, Dollenbach. I'm just telling you what I'm told.
I bet you the flagger's got something to say about that.
I saw the green flag in the air. I'm just telling you what I'm told.
And there we see Blaney, the 22 car, going around, and I didn't see any cars around him. And I tell you what, that blow to the left front was not good. It's a lot of damage to that left front.
Martin Truex Jr., the lucky dog.
That left rear doesn't look too good either.
No, it doesn't.
Big win for Blaney last night, though.
Well, it's huge last night, but the thrill of victory has gone to the agony of defeat quickly.
His sport will do that to you real quick.
So they work on the 22 of Blaney. Riggs is the leader. Then it's Kasey Kahne, Casey Mears, Elliott Sadler, and Kevin Harvick. Jeff Burton, Clint Bowyer, Mark Martin, Reed Sorensen, and Jimmy Johnson, the top 10. Jeff Gordon currently scored in the 21st position. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 15th, Kyle Busch 13th, Matt Kenseth 12th. The light has just changed. Pit road will be open this time.
Well, 17 laps, you would think. Yeah, here they come. Marty, coming to you.
Elliott Sadler said he's just getting killed getting into the corner, guys. And I would say most of these teams will take fuel only or 2 tires at best. It's going to be fuel only for the 19 team. A track bar and wedge adjustment trying to loosen them up. Dave?
Even though the 42 of Casey Mears, the rear end was edgy, they are going to take fuel only, no tire change. Matt?
Fuel only for Kasey Kahne to make a small track bar adjustment. The car is still 2 free. AB.
Fuel only for the leader, Scott Riggs. A very quick stop, cleanly in and out.
Let's take a look at the Nextel race off of pit road. Nextel celebrating speed, teamwork, and getting things done instantly. And part of the trouble with that is if you come in and just get fuel, you're still going to be coming out of your pit stall when some guys are going to be coming in, and that's exactly what happened to Elliott Sadler.
Got damage on that car right there. 41 car, Reed Sorensen.
Sorensen has some, and the 19 hit the 88. Jarrett was headed for his stall.
What is it about the...
Look at that set good, guys. We might be able to glue that set. Nope, we had a flat.
Okay, cut the left rear down. Okay, we're all good there. Get rid of that set then. All right, it's been a wild night. We'll get settled down here and run some laps. We got your track bar down and got some air pressure in the left for you.
Keep a good eye on the grill. We might not see it, unless you look good. To the green.
Very top of the screen, you'll see the 88 car trying to make it in the pits, and there's that red car that hits him in the left rear, and not a lot of damage to the 88 car, but
yeah, you'll see Reed here on the left. They're already in their pit. Now they're ready. They're pulling out, and he gets clocked right in the left rear.
You're good. Come on forward. Come forward. We're okay. No damage. Hit.
I'll tell you one thing, those inspectors are brave men just to walk out on pit road like that. You know that?
And women.
And women, that's right.
Well, Tony Raines is the race leader, elected not to come to pit road.
You're going to be sorry, Tony.
Green.
Most of the cars took fuel only. Told 2 tires for the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
So who was the first car that stopped? Scott Riggs in 5th position. First 4 cars chose not pit, but they did make pit stops with all the caution flags earlier. So
Raines, Newman, McMurray, and Terry Labonte stayed out during that caution period. And tires may not be an issue for them, BP, but because of the smaller fuel cell, which is used here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, that's where they could be in trouble.
Yes, that's right, because the fuel cell here at this race only holds 14 gallons of fuel. Normally they hold 22 gallons. That's why they chose to pit at 17 laps. Normally they probably would have stayed out until the next caution or to run a full fuel stop at 22 gallons.
Riggs and Kane get by Terry Labonte. Now Clint Bowyer his teammate Harvick. Harvick in the 29.
Yeah, you'll see Scott Riggs and company getting to the front in a hurry right now. Now they got some temperature in their tires as he goes past McMurray.
Kevin Harvick won the Busch Series championship for 2006 last night. And now he's chasing the cup, Matt.
Absolutely, Bill. Started the night out only 33 points out of first place. Now, the RCR guys said one thing they learned about last night's Busch Series race, that you have grip, 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 and then the grip goes away. But Harvick told me right before the race that he did venture up high a couple times, and there was grip. It was more of an aero issue, getting air taken off from another car off your spoiler. His car, though, a little free early on. They made a track bar adjustment to try to improve the handling of the 29.
See these two guys going out right here. Jeff Burton in the 31. The high side, 42 car, Casey Mears.
And you see Scott Riggs, that 10 car that was fastest in qualifying on Thursday, going for second spot on the inside of Ryan Newman.
Got Kane right on his bumper, Alan.
In the Coca-Cola 600 here Memorial Weekend, Bill, Scott Riggs led nearly a quarter of the race. They brought back the very same car, and not just the same car. They went through the shop, went through their records, collected all the very same suspension pieces and parts, put them back on this car. They want to run just as well, except tonight, finish the job and get the W.
Well, you're right, Alan. That 10 car was awfully fast here during the Coca-Cola 600. You know, we watched that 07 car of Clint Bowyer walk through the garage area and ask the crews, okay, who's fast? And they'll talk about Kyle Busch. 8 car, Darren Earnhardt Jr. they talk about. And almost every one of them has an afterthought. And that 07 car, he is really good.
It's not a matter of if somebody's going around.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, we saw it last night. Like I said, these cars are they're on the edge every second of every lap. And it just doesn't take much. Hey, B.
Now talk a little Kyle Busch while he's on the center of the screen there. The 5 car comes into this race 10th in the championship. Kyle said he thought he was done with his championship chance after Dover when he fell out of the race with an engine problem. Then he said they sat back, watched what happened at Talladega last week, regrouped, looked at the points and said, you know what, maybe not. Let's go out and get maximum points tonight and see what happens. Of course, you get maximum points by winning. Yeah.
And up front, the 9 of Casey Kane. Now, he just reported to his team as you're watching Kevin Harvick trying to hold on to that position with the 19. Casey's teammate Sadler in the 5 of Kyle Busch. Casey says the water temperature in the 9 has climbed to 240 degrees, thinking there may be some debris on that grill. So we got a battle for the lead between the 96 and the 10.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just a matter of time. These guys got fresher tires on. The lap times are quite a bit quicker.
First time that Raines has led in 2006, but Riggs takes it away. And Kane will try to follow him through.
I'll tell you what, Tony Raines hung on pretty well there. Quite a few laps. New crew chief on that 96 car, Brandon Thomas, has taken over.
The names in yellow on the ticker at the top of your screen are the 10 drivers in the chase for the next Cup championship.
And giving it up yet either. Still hangs on to second place. And he gives it up.
Matt on car 9-6.
You're seeing the 96 just lost that position, Bill. He can't run on the bottom down in 3 and 4. That's where he's starting to lose that edge to Casey. Says the car just gets way too tight. But what a great run these guys have had. He pitted back on lap 6. And like we saw last night in the Busch race, a lot of guys went a lot of laps with their tires before they finally pitted. We're seeing that heat cycle issue really come to fruition here.
Riggs leads. A couple of stories we're keeping our eyes on. Jeff Gordon runs in the 21st position. Denny Hamlin in the garage after getting damage after the first lap of the race. Scott Riggs driving for Ray Evernham out front. Had a great run here in May, but then had problems on pit road. We'll see how it.
Side 8 car only. Caution, turn 4. run about 3/4 speed. The back of the car is just on top of the track. Any faster?
If we get anything here, let's get some left, gas, down 1 pound on the left, something like that. Air pressure adjustment is going to be what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something a little bit more like bite, but it's all up to you, Bo.
We run really fast last time. I just want to make sure we don't go down the air pressure. We might hurt it. So let's just let me think about it here a minute. We're going to do left this time, guys. 2 left. Whenever pit road opens, it's not open right now. Good idea.
That was the 88 car, June.
10-4.
Pit road is closed. Pit road is closed.
Guys, you got 2 lefts coming at you. You need to get these lefts with get with Ray. Get set 4 up on the wall now. Kurt, you're going to put a set of scuffs on. You got 4 laps on, just keep us kind of consistent here.
4.
Still thinking about that.
Open, open, open.
Pit road is open. We're descending.
Going in the corner.
Michael Waltrip on board with him, looking back, and we see the 41 car just make slight contact and around goes.
Behind you, stand behind.
And listen. Oh, don't you hate that noise?
Pit road is open. The field head down to Marty.
Elliott Sadler running 6 says, man, this car just will not turn at all. I have no front grip, extremely tight for Sadler. It's going to be fuel only once again, and it's going to be around in the right rear of Wedge, trying to loosen that car up again. Dave?
Championship leader Jeff Burton gives up 10th position again, fuel only, and they will send him back off pit road. Matt?
Fuel only for Casey Ken. They also cleaned the grill as the 29 of Harvick held up just a split second by the 96 of Reigns. Alan?
Scott Briggs has already come and gone. Just fuel only on the 10 car. He wanted an adjustment, but they said, well, we won't have time.
It is hectic down there, isn't it?
Especially when they're just taking fuel only and they've only run a few laps, Bill, and it really puts these crew chiefs under a lot of pressure tonight, trying to keep up with the changing track conditions.
So we'll sort out the running order. Dale Jarrett did make a stop in the 41 pit stall, but then continued on his way back to the garage.
have set 1 ready for right side. Set H, be on the wall. Set 1 ready for right side.
Now at Advance, all wiper blades are 25% off. And as always, we install them fast.
Car's off. Green flag, green flag. Everybody's moving good, you. Clear.
Haven't had a lot of good things, and the car wasn't bad. We got it tightened up where I could race there, and just unfortunate.
And then, unfortunately, your car quit working right at his pit stall, too.
Right at his pit stall, imagine that. Yeah, wouldn't go any further there for a minute, but I was really just going to keep him from pitting at the time that he needed to pit, probably, and didn't have any. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything there to him. But he and I will have a little talk here one day.
All right, that seems like something Wally would do, park in someone's pit so they can't pit.
I like that move.
He's writing that down. Dale Earnhardt Jr. currently runs 14th, took left side tires on that stop. Again, just about everybody else, fuel only.
There's Sadler in the 19 car. Struggling a little bit with the tight race car, as Marty said earlier.
Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin running there, two of the drivers in the chase. Update on car 31, Jeff Burton, championship leader from Dave.
Another driver in the chase, Bill. And I talked to crew chief Scott Miller this afternoon at length about their practice sessions this weekend, one of which was shortened, not because they had the car perfect, but because they didn't want to dial themselves out. It was during the day, they were racing at night, and Jeff and Scott Miller, the crew chief, reasoned that they would just soon quit now with a fairly balanced race car and just see what the nighttime racing and track conditions brought them.
It's a mystery here because you do all your work, all your practice, all your rehearsing during the day, and then the show's under the lights.
You know, I never heard a lot of drivers complain about it. Only one driver I heard say something about that during the qualifying show, and that was Jeff Gordon. He said something about it really is insane to do all this practice in the daytime and race at night.
Been going on for a long, long time.
All right, Jimmy Johnson trying to show these guys this Lowe's Motor Speedway is still his house. Goes by Elliott Sadler, the 19 car. That moves him into the 8th position. But I see that 8 car lurking back there. AB, he's lurking.
He's lurking. Remember that before the race, talked about it, this car, he said every time he gets behind the wheel, it performs well. Performing pretty well so far tonight, but their strategy has been different than just about everybody else's. Most of the guys in front of him have taken no tires on some of their pit stops. Junior's team took right side tires on their first pit stop, left side tires on the one they just made. Tony Uri Jr., the crew chief, just trying to keep as fresh a tire on the car as possible in case they get a long run during this race where the green flag doesn't come out for a while.
That would be nice.
Or the caution flag, rather. Pardon me.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, you did.
And look what happened. Todd Cleaver is around.
Well, Schrader.
Oh, man. We got hit just now.
I thought he was going to miss him. I said, man, Schrader's going to do a great job going to the outside. And guess what? That car showed up at the same spot he was immediately.
Fourth caution flag of the race, just 47 laps in. There's Cleaver.
Yeah, it's tough when you're watching a wreck happen, you're slowing down for a wreck, and then you get in the wreck.
And Kyle Petty has some damage in that crash.
First look.
Cleaver just get a little bit loose. Biffle was right on his bumper. Took a little bit of air off it. Schrader wasn't sure which way he wanted to go, and he picked the wrong way.
Then did he get Michael?
Yes, Michael Waltrip goes up in the outside retaining wall. Trying to figure out how Kyle Petty got. Saw him go by with smoking.
I think Schrader was going down to the bottom, and he thought the 6 car was going to keep going down to the bottom.
Oh, I see. Kyle Petty ran in the 06 car after Schrader hit him. On board with Schrader. Which way do I go? Left, left? Oh,
and man. Pit road is open, and here they come again, Dave.
They're going to take 2 tires on Jeff Burton's car this time, so they say. We'll see how it pans out. And Jeff still not happy with the handling of this car, and they will see what happens when they put on 2. See how that changes things. Matt?
The night of Casey Kane making a slight track bar adjustment to back up the adjustment they previously made fuel only for the 9 and the 29 of Kevin Harvey. AB.
Another set of fuel-only stops on this end. The leader, Scott Riggs, just topped off the tank. Marty?
Alan, that is 2 wrecks. Mark Martin has narrowly missed tonight. He came to pit road this time like a lot of other guys, took 2 tires. He said the car was too tight. Half round of wedge in the right rear. Bill?
Thanks, Marty. Boy, Jeff Gordon has used the last 2 sets of pit stops to really pick up some ground on the field. And they had the hood up on the 17 of Matt Kenseth's car, one of the drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup.
He obviously has damage to the nose of the car. Well, looks like they're just adjusting on the car.
Yeah, it looked like they're dropping the valence.
Yeah.
We'll get an update on the 17. There's the race off of pit road. Riggs beating his teammate.
To us, it's all about anticipation, anticipating.
Dale Jr., this is PRN. Can you talk?
Sure. And let's talk to the leader right now, the Bank America 500, the driver of the Budweiser Chevrolet, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr., you stayed out. You picked up 5 bonus points. That's pretty good here early on.
Yeah, it might be tough to find some laps to lead here in this race under green, so we just took an opportunity. I guess told you they wanted to get the 5 points, and I think it's a good play.
Seems like this one's kind of got off to sort of a hiccupy start. You guys really, have you found your rhythm yet?
No, not really. This tire's real hard, the track's a bit new, and it's cold, and it's just not a good combination. Wasn't too bad the first race, but it's so cold, its combination's not very good, so I don't really, hopefully we just ain't part of that tonight. Hopefully we can just keep it on the asphalt and off the walls.
How good is the Budweiser Chevrolet?
Coming to the green.
Lights, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on NBC. Getting ready to go back to green through the Lowe's Motor Speedway, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Carl Edwards, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, and Reed Sorensen. The top 5 drivers did not pit. They stayed out on the track. Then it's Riggs, Kane, Bowyer, Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick.
And there you see the 06 car of Todd Cleaver just in front of his teammate Greg Biffle, and clearly showed that the Cleaver just lost control, and poor old Kenny Schrader cannot figure out which way to go. And every once in a while you choose the wrong way, don't you, Wally?
Well, that was a big time wrong way on that one. And like I said, looked like Cleaver was going to roll back down to the inside of the racetrack. That's why Schrader was headed that way. Then he decided, unfortunately, to go to the right.
Okay, Marty, you with some friends down there?
Bill, I found 2 friends down here, and the good thing is they're still friends, so that's good. Todd, your one reaction when you saw the replay was it happens fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know, I had the 66 on the outside of me there, and Greg tucked up behind me, and you know, this tire's, you know, the racing here's been really good, but it's just when they go, man, they go quick and in a big hurry, and just lost it there. Unfortunately, I got Kenny in the wreck here with me, but thought we were gonna be okay for a little while. We just put some tires on and be able to go on, but oh well.
And poor old Schrader, you thought you had that cleared a couple times, didn't you?
No, and he didn't get me in that wreck. I drove into it. He did everything textbook right. I mean, he stayed in the middle of the racetrack. I just had a gut feeling it was going to come back across the bottom, and I was going to shoot the gap at the top, and it was still there when I got there.
Yeah, and that's not good, Schrader. Both these guys are okay, though. Dave?
So Matt Kenseth back on pit road, and Wally, they topped off the fuel, then they topped off again. My guess is they can't make it from here to the end of the race. But it's a real strategy move. Now that Matt is back in the pack, having fixed that right front, they still need to lead a lap and get 5 bonus points. They're hoping at some point they can be off sequence, stay out a little longer, and lead a lap.
Hey, Dave.
William.
Just go ask Robbie if they can make it from here and see what happens.
He might say, yeah, we're 5 laps short, maybe.
Well, they added an extra lap here. That's why we didn't go back to green for a piece of debris on the backstretch. We got that cleaned up, and now we're going to try it again. Coming around to complete lap 52. Earnhardt, Edwards, Newman, Biffle, and Sorensen, the top 5. They didn't stop.
Boy, they all hug that bottom white line for the first couple laps. Then you'll start seeing them slide all over the place after a lap or 2.
Carl Edwards, a 99 car. He drove the 60 last night in the Busch Series race, and boy, was he hooked up.
Yeah, he's got that thing hooked up pretty good right now. got the left front tire right almost on the apron, below the white line in the corners. Car's got to feel pretty good in order to do that.
How about those top two, Alan?
A couple quick things here, Bill. First, a little bit of a risk on the part of Tony Eury Jr. being in the championship and not pitting there. They've run 10 laps with the small fuel cells. They can only go so far before they're going to have to come in, and they can go fewer laps than the guys chasing them. They're taking a gamble that this pattern we've had of frequent cautions is going to continue, and everybody else will have to pit here in a little bit, and they got 5 bonus points toward the championship. Talked to Carl Edwards, involved in a hard crash at the end of that race last night before the race. He told me his neck was a little sore from that wreck. Nothing he thought would affect him adversely in this race, but he said he was more sore than he expected to be.
And there they go, 3 wide.
Kyle Busch in the 5. There's Sorensen in the 41. Casey Kane in the 9.
5 car looks like it's pretty good too tonight. He's been on the high side, on the low side. He's been 3 abreast, and he's going forward all the time.
I tell you what, Wally, ever since NBC TNT took over back in July, that 5 car's been past almost every racetrack we've been to.
And he is. That's a 6th spot right there he just took.
He doesn't scare easy either, does he?
Oh, no, he doesn't. Been very impressed by Kyle Busch and this entire team.
Right now, Kyle 10th in the championship standings. This is back in the garage. Denny Hamlin involved in that crash at the end of the first lap. Currently 41st, more than 50 laps down.
The reason he's going back on the racetrack, every position that he can pick up. Currently, he is shown in 41st, but Jarrett is out. Cleaver is out, so that's 2 positions. That's 6 points toward trying to win that Nextel Cup.
Yeah, he's points racing, you know, tonight. I mean, it's not going to be any fun for him. He's got 277 laps to go. He's not going to be racing anybody. He's just hoping the guys drop out in front of him, and he can pick up another spot if he runs long enough.
2 years ago, the championship was decided by just 8 points. Update on Clint Bowyer from Alan Bestwood.
You know, Bill, 7 times over the years at this racetrack, a guy has scored his first ever Nextel Cup Series win. Clint Bowyer is looking for that tonight. His first Nextel Cup win. Got a great race car underneath him. He told me before the race, I think I can win tonight.
Bowyer runs in the 8th spot.
And Alan, he might win and get his first NASCAR Nextel Cup victory, but there's another guy that's trying his best and looks like to be very, very strong to get his first victory. That's at 10 car Scott Riggs.
And Benny, he was exciting to watch here in May as well.
Oh, he was. Looked like he was going to win the race till late in the race. A pit stop took him out of contention.
And they could face that same situation tonight because they haven't been in those high pressure, high profile situations with their stops.
You always wonder how they're going to handle it once they get in those situations. In May, they didn't do it very well, but maybe they learned from that.
Pretty good race here. Good pack. Fast drivers, 41, 29. Got Jimmy Johnson there, Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon's in that bunch.
Got 4 chasers in a row right there, don't you? Harvick, Johnson, Burton, Gordon, then Casey Mears. There you see Denny Hamlin right on the apron in the 11 car. Leader's running a 29.6. And the minimum speed is a 32.29, so Hamlin will have to meet that minimum speed. Sorensen battling with Harvick. Marty.
Bill just checked with Jimmy Ellick, the crew chief for Reed Sorensen, and he said the reason they left him out there is because they had nothing to lose, really, and their concern is that right front fender. The car is extremely tight. Remember, he got that damage on the first contact with Dale Jarrett on pit road. They have fixed it as best they can. Now they've crafted a new piece to go on that. On their next stop, they'll put that on, hoping they can get him some more downforce. But that right front fender really hurting that 41 car.
And, you know, we talked about it earlier. You really need it here. I mean, you're running top speed 195 plus miles per hour in these corners. I think you get down to probably the slowest you're in the corners, about 160 miles per hour here. So downforce is pretty important. And when that fender's got that damage, you've taken downforce away from the car. And it's going to make the car slide more, especially the longer he goes on the tires. As the more laps he puts on the tires, the more that car is going to really feel like it's a handful.
Johnson trying to get around Sorensen, then Burton, then Gordon. And it's Casey Mears, and Mark Martin has joined that pack. Out front, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 63 laps are in the book. Earnhardt has led 17 of them. But the question is, how long till the next caution?
Three, then a hole inside, big hole behind them.
Three, two, one. Go, 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 go. 3,900. All right, let's go. Two more closing in on you. Coming outside. Clear there, clear. Still clear, 10 back. 5 back, 16's on you. Clear, clear. Coming outside. The car fail right there. Buddy, good lap. Get 6.
Pretty neutral in. Little snug center, but good. Right, 10-4. Then y'all really good through the corner. Yeah, but I don't think I can stand much more of that.
All right, 10-4. We'll put the 4 tires on the green flag stop. Lap.
Standings currently here at lap 72. The car just a tick on the tight side. Meanwhile, a man on the move, the 9 of Casey Kane. He says the racetrack is almost like driving on ice. He said just absolutely no grip in the front as the 16 of Biffle looking down low. AB?
Kyle Busch calls this racetrack one of his favorites, and he's running well tonight in 6th position right now. The Kyle's got 2 NASCAR Busch Series and 2 Craftsman Truck Series wins here, looking for a first Nextel Cup win tonight. Running right behind him, the 07 car, that's Clint Bowyer. No complaints about the handling of his car. Very solid night for the 07 so far, the driver from Kansas in the 3rd Richard Childress entry. Matt?
This is one of those racetracks where Kevin Harvick knows he needs to step it up, and that's exactly what he's doing. A very solid night so far by the 29 team, just inside the top 10. No adjustments, just fuel only the past few stops. Maybe.
Jimmy Johnson running in the 9th position right behind Harvick and ahead of Jeff Burton has asked to get a little help with his car handling into the corner. The back end a little uncomfortable for him. This is the same chassis that raced so well for him a couple of weeks ago in Kansas. Dave?
Championship leader Jeff Burton in the 31 car. He's been having trouble with grip all weekend long, like a lot of drivers. He reported a few laps ago, actually before the last pit stop, that the rear end was still iffy. That's an issue he'll have to be very careful with as he drives this race car. Jeff Gordon's car, it's not the same as it was in May. According to crew chief Steve Letarte, he said we're not anything like we were in May. And this weekend, we have changed everything on the car, but just a little. Not too bad. Marty?
Well, Dave, Mark Martin comes to the Lowe's Motor Speedway, one of his favorite racetracks. He knows he's 3rd in the championship, 10 points out of the lead, and gave a pep talk to his team before the race started.
This is one of those where we need to do smart race here. You know, obviously we're probably not going to be real fast here, especially early. Need to survive this thing, not spin it out, not get crazy. Don't tear it up on pit road, like you say, and you know, make the most of what we got here.
And that's what Mark talked to me about before the race, surviving the early part of this race. A lot of caution so far. Mark is in the 12th place with a race car that's a little bit too tight for his liking. Elliott Sadler's race team has done everything to try and loosen up this 19 car. In fact, last time they put in 2 separate spring rubbers in the car. The car's still tight, will not turn, especially getting into the middle of the corner. Reed Sorensen decided not to stop last time. He's about 5 or 6 laps from his pit stop, and some of the guys, in fact, stopping right now. Bill?
Thanks, Marty. 99 is headed to Allen.
And he's going to be followed down pit road by the race leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bill. So hoping that this race stays green for a while, both Carl Edwards and Dale Earnhardt Jr., so that they cycle back into the same pit stop schedule as the other leaders. And now that you've run a full fuel load on the car, you might as well take 4 tires on the machine. You see Dale Earnhardt Jr. far down pit road, just beginning the long haul here and having to be very careful not to violate that pit road speed limit. That would be a big no-no.
Come on in here.
Under the green flag.
There you go.
Being coached into the pit stall by his crew chief, Tony Eury Jr. You see they're going to put 4 tires on the car here and try and get Jr. out and then pray for continued green flag racing. Matt?
Greg Biffle, the 16's already pitted. They took out 2 tires. The car was a little loose as the 12 is on pit road. You can see right side tires going on. Chassis adjustment already completed. 4 tire change as people start to cycle in the tires. You're going to see a lot of scuffed tires going on to Marty Snyder.
With everyone else pitting, Reed Sorensen decides to come down pit road. Again, the race car extremely tight. They again fabricated a new piece for the right front fender, but under green flag stops, kind of hard to do that. They're going to do the best they can to pull it out. 2 tires and a round of wedge in the right rear trying to loosen them up.
Problem with that fender, it's broken up just under the head where the headlight would be, so it just goes around the racetrack flapping.
Yeah, once he gets up to speed, that thing's going to roll right back in. That arrow will push that fender right back in.
Marty?
Yeah, guys, they talked about the fender being rolled up, and that's why they were really hoping for a caution. They've done a lot of work on this new piece they want to put on that right front fender for the 41. But Jimmy Ellis told me, listen, we're just trying to keep it in the top 20 right now. I know I have a good car if I can just get that right front fender fixed later on.
Hey, Marty, they don't want to wish for a caution flag too hard.
Well, not now, BP. Before they wanted a caution.
But you know why they don't?
Why's that?
Because usually when you really want one and wish one,
it's you.
It's you. That's right.
And if you look at that fender right now, it's already blown back in underneath that tire.
Not very good.
No.
Earnhardt, Edwards, Newman, Biffle, and Sorensen did not stop when the caution came out on lap 47. So Riggs and company have about 12 extra laps of fuel before they'll have to come to pit road. Again, using a smaller fuel cell here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. And you get the feeling in the garage, the teams say that's not necessary anymore. There's a fuel cell change for next year anyway. Try and make it universal at most of the tracks. Be a little larger than what they're running here tonight, a little smaller than what they use at most other tracks.
See, David Gilliland, the 38 car, going a lap down to our leader, Scott Riggs. David currently running in the 26th position.
19 on pit road. Here he is, Marty.
Yeah, Bill, we talked about their struggles just trying to get this race car to turn a little bit better for Elliott. They're going to make a track bar adjustment on the car, and they just really have not been able to hit on it. He said getting into the middle of the corner, that's where he's really losing all of his time. It's going to be a 4-tire stop for the 19, but trying to make the car a little bit better. He's been able to hang in the top 10. Like to be a little bit better than that, Matt.
Casey Kane follows his teammate down pit road, making his way to his pit box. Look for the Dodge boys to do a right side tire change. Scuff tires going on. It's been a lot of final practice scuffing tires to AB.
Scott Riggs pits from the race lead. Going to be a 2-tire change on this 10 car, just right sides.
So both the Evernham cars taking 2 tires.
We'll have to see how that works out with these guys taking 2 and Earnhardt Jr. taking 4.
I'll tell you what, Casey Kane almost caught that commitment line cone when he made his entrance on the pit road. That would have been disastrous.
Riggs almost got run over there by the 4. Jimmy Johnson in the 48.
And there's Junior right there in the 8 car.
Watch this. Oh, there's Bowyer to pit road. There's a long way to travel before he reaches his stall. 24 is on pit road, Dave. Here comes Gordon.
Yep, he is coming in right now. They're going to put 4 scuffs on Jeff's car with no changes to the car. The car was going away, Jeff thought, but then he realized that guys with fresh tires were passing him. So not too bad right now. 4 tires, no changes. Alan.
Gil Martin has called Clint Bowyer on to pit road in the 07 car. He had taken the race lead just before that for 1 lap. A 4-tire change here for Bowyer. And a little bit of overheating there as the car sits on pit road. Matt?
And we're waiting for the 29 to make his way down pit road. The teammate, there he is. Kevin Harvick's team looking to put right side tires on. While some guys are going scuffs, Harvick's team looking for stickers. Now Harvick went back and forth during final practice with scuff and stickers. Felt like there really wasn't much of a change.
Jeff Burton is on pit road. 4-tire change for him. Air pressure adjustment for a tight race car. Casey Mears also on pit road. A 4-tire change for him. Casey's car pretty good right now. No changes to it.
These green flag stops occurring right now. Lap 88.
Turn in.
Jimmy Johnson got 5 bonus points. Now he's on pit road, Alan.
Got going to be a 4-tire change here for Jimmy, and that's an important note, Bill. Through that sequence, both Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson led 1 lap and collected 5 bonus points toward the championship. Johnson's crew going to top off the tank and a smooth stop.
Alan, I can't believe how much brakes that Jimmy Johnson is using. That right front brake rotor was just cherry red. And you think, well, maybe it was coming down pit road, but I don't know how it would have gotten that red that quickly. And a lot of brake dust when he took that right front tire off.
Yeah, that's something that really gets the guys that change tires have to really focus on what they're doing. When they hit that air gun and it blows all that dust right back in their face.
That's a pass-through penalty right there for Kyle Busch. Too fast entering when he came down a moment ago for his pit stop. Very costly mistake. Here comes Matt Kenseth. Another visit to you, Dave.
And Bill, I think he led a lap out there or 2.
He did.
So that strategy worked out for them. Mrs. David Gilliland coming in. His race car is still tight. He says the front is not working. The rear's working pretty well. They're going to go ahead and make a chassis adjustment, change 4 tires for Matt, see if they can get that rear working as well as the front right now.
And then they decided to go with 2. So you talk about 2, you talk about 4, then you do what the crew chief says.
When they tell you to go, you go.
Dave?
And that was a stay near the lead lap because remember they were running in the back of the line before they were the leader, so they want to make sure they didn't keep him on pit road too long.
As a matter of fact, we saw the 10 car, the leader, going by down the front stretch. Now Kenseth just pulls up on the back stretch. Here comes 10 off turn 2. So he's going to be barely in front of the 10 car on the lead lap.
Riggs is the race leader. Then it's Kane, Earnhardt, Biffle, and Edwards. There's Jimmy Johnson. Kenseth's currently scored back in the 24th spot. BP?
Wally, check that right front brake rotor, how cherry red it is. And look at the brake dust that comes off on the inside of that tire. The rotor is still red.
Yeah, that's not good, because you don't really use that much brake here if your car's working good. You roll out of the throttle and you just touch the brake enough to set the nose of the car. So if he's using that much brake, he's struggling.
It looks like he's sliding the nose a great deal, and he's using the brakes to try to make the car turn.
There are 25 cars on the lead lap. Matt Kenseth is back in 24th. Kyle Busch back in 31st. Kyle Busch 1 lap down. Riggs is the race leader.
Clear. Clear low. Inside, Junior. Clear. Side. Still there, clear. Side, outside. Clear all around. Oh man, at 07, you're catching him good.
Yes, no need telling me stuff like that. I can't hear you anyway.
Yep. Inside. Clear all around. On the bottom, 22. Clear.
passed a couple of cars in 5 more laps. The car behind us back on the track is the one car. He's 5 laps down to us. He's running a little bit quicker than we are right there.
Charlotte. Matt Kenseth, one of the 10 drivers in the chase for the championship, currently scored 35th, 2 laps down.
And these guys, BP, you know, they've had some good runs, and it just seems like they get in a position where that pressure is on, if it is loose wheels.
Talking about Riggs.
Riggs, the 10 car.
He runs third. You saw Earnhardt Jr. go by him a couple of laps ago.
And if the lug nuts are loose, he can't run that long because he's going to ruin the stud so that to have a problem. Alan, what's he saying now?
Scott came on the radio last lap by in turn 3 and said, something's wrong, guys, something's wrong. Rodney Childers came back and said, Ken Ford, just let us know what you need to do. Nothing further from Scott in that last lap around. They're still up on the wall and watching.
Well, like BP says, it's not going to get any better. One thing, once these cars develop a vibration, that means something's going to fall off. We got trouble in 4.
Car around.
Crash in 4, coming to the up.
Michael Waltrip.
Maybe Scott Riggs is going to get the break that you need to win a race.
Yep.
Right rear tire's flat on Michael's car. That might be what caused this spin. What's the right front's flat as well.
Straight to the garage. 5th caution of the night. Brian Vickers is the lucky dog.
Got sideways, came up to the track with the right front against the wall.
It's all by himself, BP.
Sure was.
On board the 55. Here it comes.
And these are those sounds you don't like. I don't like.
3,900 at the line.
You know what?
3,900.
It almost looked like he was trying to get into pit lane.
Well, the guy was saying 3,900, so that might be exactly what he was doing.
He got down off the racetrack onto the apron. He was going too fast when he hit the apron and turned the car sideways.
So Michael sits back in the garage.
We heard the spotter say 3,900 like that's the pit road speed. 45 miles per hour pit road speed. These guys do it with a tachometer.
Well, he was off the throttle. When he got down on the apron, he was off the gas where he should have been back on the gas if he was making a lap. So it looked like he was coming into pit lane.
Pit road will be open this time. 7 chasers run in the top 14 positions. Kyle Busch is back in 28th. Matt Kenseth 34th. Denny Hamlin 39th. And Hamlin 41 laps down after being involved in a crash at the end of the first lap of the race.
Biggest problem Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, has, he's 2 laps down, not 1.
Exactly right. Points leader is headed for Dave.
And this run, Jeff Burton said his car was even harder to turn than on the last run. So what they will do is change 2 right side tires. A wrench will go in the window to raise the track bar. That should help that car turn better, Matt.
And the Dodge boys pull 2 tear-offs off the windshield for Casey Kane and also go up again on the track bar. The car way too tight in 1 and 3. Alan?
Center of the screen, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Should be a 2-tire change here, and he's away, Marty.
Mark Martin's car was tight, Alan, and to even the tires out a little bit, they put 3 rounds in the right rear because they only took on 2 tires. Also up 2 rounds on the track bar. All that means Mark's car is extremely, extremely tight.
Mark without a win this season, but a 4-time winner here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Crew cam, BP.
Rich Macco, Syracuse, New York. That right rear comes off back on. We're going to do the lefts. Oh, yeah. Attaboy, Rich, 5 times. Let's see if he fights tie. 5. That's it. Beautiful stuff.
Tuesday, 2 all-new Law & Orders back-to-back. First.
Hit this time. Second gear, 3,700. Okay, we'll top it off with fuel. Provider's going to check all the front end look at the right rear, get some tape on the grill there.
Away. 5, 4, 3.
Really closed up actually pretty good, Denny.
4. Outside, coming outside. After the 25, you're clear.
There's one panel right above the right rear tire, that crush panel that runs up the wheel well. That's broke loose a little bit, but it's all taped from the backside. That's the only hole I see. It's not taped. Okay, that's all I see.
Can you tape it from the bottom side if you take that tire off? All right, let's go ahead and come back in. 1 to go. If you can ride it out, let's wait till the next caution there.
That'll be 1 to go when you get here. 1 to go.
The first lap wasn't.
Boy, it got ugly in a hurry. The 7-car Robbie Gordon got loose, and several cars involved, including this car, Denny Hamlin, who spent about 55 laps or so in the garage area trying to get his car back in shape.
Dave Blaney, winner of the Busch race last night, got a little bit sideways up in 4.
Dale Jarrett said he got a little help from Reed Sorensen.
For the second time tonight. Once in the pits.
And just a couple of laps ago, Michael Walter looks like he was trying to get to pit road, loses it off turn 4 in the outside wall, and takes a nice divot.
Our DLP race recap. This is our 5th caution period of the race. Casey Kane, the race leader. Then it's Earnhardt, Bowyer, Jeff Gordon, and Sterling Marlin. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Burton, Mark Martin, David Stremme, Elliott Sadler, the top 5. Kurt Busch got tagged with a speeding ticket. Had to restart at the tail end of the longest line.
Ooh, they get bottled up there a little bit. 38 car, killing it. It looked like Sterling in the 14. Had to check up a little bit, and the first pack of 5 got away a little.
And this is Matt Kenseth trying to get one of his 2 laps back in that 17s.
That was sideways, getting off a 4 right there.
So when he squeezed off the throttle to gain control, the 8 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., drove on the inside. And check this out, Jeff Gordon, 24, he's going somewhere. Goes by that 07 car. And that 07 is not a slouch.
Boy, it just looks like they're racing on ice, doesn't it?
And as someone said, that's the way it feels out there.
Those 3 battle for positions. Kenseth trying to make up a couple of laps. We'll watch the race and check in the garage.
And Bill, Friday was really good for Michael Waltrip. He finished 2nd in the Busch Series race, but today not so good. What happened in this last one?
Well, the Napa car ran out of gas, and I all of a sudden tried to hook the pit road, and that probably in hindsight wasn't the smartest thing to do, but probably the most innocent looking crash. And they say the right front lower control arm's totally ripped off of it. and there'll be no getting back on the track for the Napa car. The saga continues. I thought maybe I used up all my luck last night, and I think I did.
Is it as slick as it looks out there, Mikey?
Man, Marty, I've had so much trouble with my cars this year, trying to get them up under me. My car felt like it does every week, so I can't really, not a good one to ask.
Bill?
Thanks, Marty.
Which is not any fun. I mean, you know, Michael's talking about they're having a hard time finding the grip on a racetrack. And when you're flying around a place like this, you need as much grip as you can get, or it's not any fun. These tires we talked about are real hard tires. They're harder tires than they've used.
I think this right side tire, I think I read someplace, it's the hardest tire that Goodyear's ever made. And because last year, if you watch this race last year, we had a caution like a right front blew every 27 laps or something. So Goodyear was determined for that not to happen, and guess what? It's not happening, which is a good thing.
Burton got around his teammate Bowyer, and now Jimmy Johnson gets by as well. Johnson in the 48. There's Clint Bowyer in the 07.
So it looks like Bowyer's losing some of his speed he had earlier on. Alan, how about the 10? What was wrong with Riggs' car? Do we know?
They don't know, BP. They have given a very thorough examination of the tires that came off the car. No punctures, holding air pressure. None of the lug holes were rounded out any, meaning the tire was left loose. Sammy Johns, one of the top men at Evernham Motorsports, was down here with them. They looked everything over. Sammy told me, don't know.
Trouble on the backstretch.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorensen with a hard crash. There's Kurt Busch in the 2.
That Sorensen nailed that inside wall extremely hard. See a little bit of, I thought it was some left.
Anything?
On board with Kurt. Sixth caution of the race. Brian Newman will be the lucky dog.
Well, let's see if we can see what happened here. And just Kurt Busch just broke loose all by himself. Reed Sorensen, the 41, just dove, looks like he dove down to try to avoid it.
I wonder if someone got in the back of the 41 car maybe and turned him like that, because it's just, let's see if we can see. Never see the 2 car lighten up the tires as he loses control, but we'll not be able to see anything in that smoke.
I don't know, BP.
Hard to say.
Doesn't look like anybody got into him.
On board with Kurt Busch.
It's right here where you're getting after the throttle hard, and you can just see there's just no grip. I mean, he's in the gas, he's coming off the corner like he's supposed to be doing, and the thing just swaps sideways.
Pit stops, Dave.
Fuel only for Jeff Gordon to stay on pace with that, and he's gone.
Matt. And Tank Probus topping off the 9 of Casey Kane. Oh, almost trouble there between the 29 of Harvick and the 9 of Kane. Harvick had to wait for Kane to leave. They're going to just top him off of fuel as well. Maybe.
And a little 4.4 second splash and dash for Dale Earnhardt Jr. cleanly out.
And that was pretty tight getting off of pit road between the 8, the 24, and the 48 down there, among others. Working our 6th caution of the race. Here's the race off of pit road. Earnhardt Jr. beats Gordon. Then there's the 48. You're watching the Bank of America 500 live on NBC.
yeah, these little wheels were gripping good today.
But that 31 said thank you. I didn't know what we did, but I told him I'd tell you.
Just let it go after.
Doing a great job, buddy. Doing a really good job.
On the way.
Up front all night. I was real proud of the guys, and the engine just let go, just broke a valve or something, it felt like, and just tried to get down off the racetrack as quick as I could so I didn't get oil on the racetrack, but it stayed all inside the engine. Just hate it for the whole guys. The whole engine department works so hard on these engines, and they make so much power. We're on the throttle so much here, it wears them out.
Real quick, do you know if this is the same package the 6 and 17 are running?
Yeah, it's the same package that everybody's running. Same engine package that we've run for the season. They keep improving and improving, but must just be a part broke a valve spring or a valve or something.
Must have been all the Roush engine guys. They all came to the 16 car wanting to know what happened. So a little concern in the Roush camp right now, Bill.
Thanks, Marty. Elliott Sadler, Tony Raines, Robbie Gordon didn't pit.
Matt Kenseth right now got one of those laps back.
And Kyle Busch, the 5 car, he's a lap down. He currently is at the tail end of the lead lap. So
they'd like a caution right about now, as long as it's not them.
Things are encouraging for those 2 guys currently, but things have a way of changing quickly in this business.
Well, they're side by side quite a bit in the back, so there's still an opportunity.
Opportunity is knocking, huh?
Stewart and Gordon, Stewart and Earnhardt side by side.
Tony Stewart in the 20 car also a lap down.
Right. Here comes Gordon.
Tell you what, they're making that 24 car better.
Yes, they are.
Kyle Busch goes to the point, although that's still on the end of the lap. But here we go for the lead. Tony Raines. The 96 goes underneath Elliott Sadler.
Go, Tony, go. There you go. Good boy. New crew chief looking good, isn't it?
And he's a guy really getting experience by doing in that ride. Started with Terry Labonte helping him out and really trying to put his best foot forward here.
Well, those guys got up there with strategy earlier, but they've been good enough to stay up in the top 10 since then.
Robbie Gordon in the 7, Earnhardt Jr. in that 8. Allen.
Robbie Gordon did not pit on this last stop. Bill, an update on Dale Jr.'s car. He asked his crew chief, Tony Uri Jr., to keep working on the turning ability of his car on these many pit stops they've had so far early in this race.
Got to work on it all night here.
Probably if they make a pit stop with 18 laps to go, they'll make a chassis adjustment while they're in there.
Kevin Harvick runs back in the 17th spot. You saw some of that traffic he got caught up in on pit road. That cost him some time. That's Jeff Burton stepping out of line there.
Yeah, well, Casey Kane going around the high side of Jeff Burton, and he's working that high line and looking at Jimmy Johnson. Whoa!
Elliott Sadler off the pace.
In a hurry off the pace. Marty?
Hey guys, Elliott just came on the radio. He's still talking to the team real quickly. It's an engine problem. He said motor. That's all he said. And he said something is wrong with the engine, and they're going to obviously pop the hood, see what's going on with the 19 car. Obviously, they were pretty quick tonight. Stayed in the top 10 for a while. Fought a tight race car, but it's an engine problem, and most likely they're going to the garage.
And so that immediately makes you think about what other two cars out there.
Exactly right. Yep, the 9 and the 10.
Exactly right. Those three all from Evernham Motorsports.
The fact that we've had 2 engine problems in a little over a couple hundred miles, I saw some smoke out of that 10 car.
It's actually been doing that all night long, BP. I saw that way early in the race, too, off the right rear.
Yeah.
There's car owner Ray Evernham.
But the fact we've had Biffle and now Elliott Sadler have engine problems just a couple hundred miles in the race makes me concerned for everyone out there, not just Evernham cars.
Part of that the speed here, BP?
It's speed, and they're on these throttles so much and so hard.
RPMs?
RPMs. That's what kills engines, is RPM.
There's Casey Kane. Around Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's for 3rd.
I tell you, that Kane gets that outside lane working to perfection, doesn't he?
Got to say, most of the guys he's passed in his Cup career have been on the outside.
Matt.
Casey's gone to victory lane in night races 3 times in his Nextel Cup career. You can see him working higher and higher. The trend that he always seems to pull, especially here at these mile-and-a-half racetracks, his biggest issue, like a lot of guys tonight, is just front grip. They've been trying to work the tightness. He's had it on entry down into 1 and down into 3. Been making small gains on it, but a lot of conversation with Kenny Francis and Casey about how to try to avoid having the big one here on pit road with different scenarios up and down pit road. 4 tires, gas only, between themselves and Kevin Harvick's team, which is pitted. They do have an opening, but they are pitted near each other.
Well, you know, last night it was a lot of guys were complaining about being loose, and it's just the opposite, it seems like, with the Cup cars, which this is what normally has happened here at Charlotte, is when it gets cooler, this place normally does get tighter. But last night, for some reason, the Busch cars were real loose.
You know, Robbie Gordon forced this 9 car down to the bottom lane, and he is struggling down there.
Yeah.
Alan, how about the 7 car?
Well, Robbie's needing to run that high line, BP, because his car lacking a little bit of front end grip, and it's going there when it gets to the corner anyway. Robbie says car a little tight, but it's fast. And remember, they didn't pit under that last caution. They're on a sync with everybody else.
Guys, look who's going someplace. That 48 car, Jimmy Johnson, has passed Gordon, has passed Earnhardt.
What are you so surprised about?
Oh, that's right. This is his house.
Yes, it is. Jimmy's won 5 of the last 7 here. There's Robbie on the outside. Jimmy's going to try and work that low line. On board with Earnhardt.
Well, I think I'll try the Casey Kane line.
Johnson to 3rd, Gordon 4th, and it's Earnhardt, then Jeff Gordon in that 24 car, Dave.
Benny noticed that he was doing very well. Steve Letarte, the crew chief, told me today, though, you got to be careful out here. The best car still has to work on it all night. So the challenge now is what changes do you make to keep that car fast? And by the way, Jeff just radioed in, I'm racing my butt off right now. So not only is the car good, but Jeff's racing hard.
Part of the reason for that, 6 of the championship chasers run inside the top 8. Tony Raines had led only 3 laps in his 77 Cup races prior to tonight. He has led 23 in this race, and he's out front in the Bank of America 500.
Job. We'll pit 20 laps.
Better just as I get back to part throttle. No later, just part throttle to half throttle.
Buddy, we're going to have you fixed up here on this next stop. The 2 and 3 and 4. Outside. There. There. Clear. Second place right there. The 9 car is the leader.
Decklet as well. Just one nice strip of bare bond across the whole back. Take your time, Daniel. If you use a razor blade to slice it, take your time.
Marty.
Bill Reed Sorensen was a part of the last caution. What happened on that one, Reed?
I'm not sure at all. It looked like somebody spun, or maybe 2 cars spun ahead of us, and I come off the corner and spun and hit the inside wall. So I guess we're going to try to get back out there and gain some points. But we've got damage on our car twice, and it felt like we were trying to get it better, and we're still in the lead lap.
Dale Jarrett was not very happy with you. A couple of incidents with him. What happened on pit road and what happened on the racetrack with him?
Well, the pit road deal, I was told clear one lane, and I went up, and you know, you can't really see out the right side with these big headrests and everything, so that was an accident. And then when I got into him, I was underneath him and got in the gas, and I come up into him, I guess, a little bit, but I apologize to him and his team, and I'll definitely give him a call this week.
An old racing tradition, the 88 left some of the parts and pieces off of their race car on the lift gate of the 41 hauler. BP, you've never done that, have you?
Nope, I didn't have a lift gate. What are you talking about?
Good point.
He didn't have a hauler. He drove to the track. Robbie Gordon, Alan, he was out of sequence, and now he's going to pay that price.
Yeah, and actually this is a little bit earlier than he was planning on pitting. They're going to change tires here and make a chassis adjustment on Robbie Gordon's car. The second half of this summer has been a much improved performance scale for this 7 team, and Robbie hoping to have a good run here tonight. Just right side tires there.
You didn't really drive your cars to the track, Benny. I'm just kidding with you.
They did back when NASCAR first started, but
Yeah.
You're right. When I came along, we did transport them on an open trailer and a pickup truck.
Benny, a 2-time winner here at this track. On board with Earnhardt. Looking ahead at Jeff Gordon. Gordon runs 4th. Earnhardt is 5th. Another chaser, Jeff Burton, is 6th. Another chaser, Mark Martin, is 7th. 6 chasers in the top 7 spots. Harvick's back in 15th. Kyle Busch, 21st. Matt Kenseth, 29th. Denny Hamlin is 37th. Hamlin was caught up in that crash at the end of the first lap, and a couple of laps ago got hit with a pit road speeding penalty.
You know, these two guys been in the news this week, the 24-8. last week at Talladega, Jeff Gordon complaining about Earnhardt bump drafting too much, and
we'll see if it happens here.
Earnhardt said he wouldn't race with him anymore.
He said, I've knocked him in the lead 5 times, but I guess I hit him too hard, so next time I won't put him in the lead.
You know, and we'll find out, don't you?
Daytona, that's right.
That race is pretty big.
Of course, I guess if I was Jeff Gordon, I wouldn't want to be run into the back as well. So,
I don't know if I'm getting knocked into the lead. I think I would be okay with that.
Yeah, you'd be okay with that.
Let's take you through the field. Kasey Kahne is the race leader. Here's Matt.
Bill, we're closing in about 7 laps away from Kasey Kahne's next stop on pit road. His gas man, Big Tank Probers, is telling me we have fueled this car 6 times. Next stop will be number 7, and I'm counting.
One thing Jimmy Johnson is looking for in tonight's race is a clean race. He said something weird has happened in all 4 of these Chase for the Nextel Cup races so far. Eventually, how well they're running will be reflected in the race results. Matt got a pit stop.
And an impressive run so far by the 96 team and Tony Raines, new crew chief Brandon Thomas. This team new in 2006. They've done a great job. They've done exactly what they've needed to do. Make the races, log laps, and get this young man some seat time. Right side tires going on. Dave?
Jeff Gordon has made 467 consecutive starts in Nextel Cup racing. Just a handful of those have been with Steve Letarte. Friday during practice, they had a very animated back and forth conversation about the status of the race car. Steve patiently worked with Jeff. I talked to him about that today, and he said, you know what? That's the thing with Jeff. He gives me a lot of feedback. Sometimes it sounds like we're getting at each other, but I just patiently work with him and give him what he wants. Alan?
You know, when you look up at the grandstands of the racetrack here, you can see very well from the driver's seat. You see an awful lot of red. Dale Earnhardt Jr. turned 32 this past Tuesday. He'd like to give himself and maybe all of his thousands of fans here tonight a little birthday present with a checkered flag. Dave?
Jeff Burton's car still having trouble turning, Alan. Remember earlier he described the back end of that car as iffy. It means he doesn't trust it. The car will turn. It's just that it might turn too much. He doesn't trust it right now. Marty?
And Dave, as we approach the second half of this race, Mark Martin in the 6th car is starting to come to life. Currently in the 6th position, said the car is starting to push, meaning it won't turn in the middle of the corner like he would like. About 6 laps from his stop, he said, man, when we take on 2 tires, it's hard to pass. I would really love 4 on the next stop if possible. Alan?
The Scott Riggs fell back to 14th when he had to take 4 tires on the last pit stop back at lap number 118 because of that vibration. His crew told him then to take his time working up through the traffic. He's up to 7th. He's only 3 laps away from his next pit stop. Clint Bowyer has fallen about as far back as he's been in a long time, just in these last several laps, picking up a couple of spots here. He's up to 8th. Bowyer says going to racetracks the 2nd time around this season's been a big help. This is 2nd Nextel Cup race here in Charlotte. Dave?
How about David Stremme, 9th right now in that 40 Coors Light car? And I thought to myself today, wouldn't it be interesting if the Coors Light car could once again run very well here at Charlotte? Remember when Jamie McMurray jumped in it after Sterling Marlin's injury a couple years ago and won here, surprisingly. They've made very few changes on Stremme's car, and it still runs very well in the top 10. The 42, his teammate, that is Casey Mears. Talked to the crew today about his charge to almost win last night in wreck. I said, you think you got a driver who will try to win the race for you? He said, we've been feeding him dynamite for the last couple of weeks, and he's been racing like it.
Thanks, Dave. Casey Mears runs in 10th. There are...
Oh, here comes Kasey Kahne.
So the leader coming to pit road. Headed for you, Matt.
And when he took that lead back on lap 138, Bill, he wanted to know how close he was to the 96 because it made his car feel very uncomfortable. Then he was concerned about the right front tire. Maybe he'd hurt it. The car was tight on that run. They are going to go with a 4-tire change on this stop, making an air pressure adjustment as well. Trying to sweep both Charlotte races this year, Kane is, and he is away. AB.
Scott Riggs will pit from 7th spot. This will be a 2-tire change, just the right sides on his car. A chassis adjustment as well. You can see the wrench inside the right rear window, and they'll top it off with fuel, Matt.
Kevin Harvick said this set of tires just did not react well to his race car. They've already made the chassis adjustment to try to free him up. It was just tight, tight, tight.
Casey Mears would like 4 tires to try to win the race tonight. He'll take them on, blowing the brake dust out of the brake rotor so the tire changer can see the lug nuts to hit him. As he comes around to the front, he will now change the front tire as well on the left side. Full of fuel, Alan.
Here is Jimmy Johnson. Going to be a 4-tire change called for here by Chad Knaus. Chad told me before the race he's not a big fan of just doing 2 tires. It's hard to keep the balance on the car in the proper way. At least it is for him, he said. So they're going to take 4 tires since they've run a full fuel stop for Jimmy Johnson. Marty?
And Mark Martin wants to take a big swing at this 6 car, so they are going to go up 4 rounds on the track bar. The car is extremely tight. 4 tires, like Mark requested. A little bit easier to make those passes with the 4 tires. Dave?
And Jeff Gordon coming in now. Right ahead of him, Matt Kenseth is out of fuel, so he will maybe have to get the ether bottle in the front of that. Jeff Gordon will take on right side tires to start with. It looks like they're not going to make a chassis adjustment on Jeff's car right now. It's pretty good. Not completely happy with it. He is going to take on 4 tires. The 31 of Jeff Burton, his car was going tight. They're going to make a chassis adjustment for Jeff's car. Wrench already in and out of the window. Left side tires going on now as well. Alan.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in. He's going to take on 4 tires on the 8 car.
Go. 1 coming outside, clear behind the 24 right there.
You hear the radio traffic giving him some warning as to how far out he can swing on the pit road from his stall.
Matt Kenseth did get his car refired after his pit stop, return to the race. 25 of Brian Vickers too fast entering. That'll be a pass-through penalty.
And Ryan Newman trying his best to get slowed down to 45 miles per hour so he doesn't pick up that speeding ticket. Coming to you, Matt.
And he thought he had carburetor trouble earlier on in that very first caution. Whoa, very close call. Another one here on pit road. BP, you've talked about it many times. Sometimes just so many cars pitting at the exact same cycle. Now, the issue still going on. Talking about maybe pulling a spring rubber out.
Well, they got more going on than a spring rubber there, man.
Get the fuel bottle, Ben. Get the fuel bottle.
They got a jack underneath that car. They're way up underneath there.
Yeah, they're trying their best to figure out what's going on with this car.
Can't quite see what they're working on there.
The fellas back was Joe Pietri. He's the battle for the lead.
Raines had it.
Still does.
And kept it. They ran up on some slower cars in traffic. That's Casey Kane in the 9 going down inside.
Tell you what, Tony's, well, he does move back to the 2nd position, but here comes Jimmy Johnson, that 48 car.
Don't forget, Tony only took 2 tires.
And don't you know, every one of these drivers and crew chiefs were delighted to see that 9 take 4 tires, which allowed them the opportunity once again to change 4 tires.
Right.
They continued to work on the 12 car on pit road. Casey Kane is the race leader. Let's check with Marty.
And Bill, a little while ago, Elliott Sadler was running 2nd, and then what happened, Elliott?
Looked like we might have broke a valve in the motor. It's just a shame. The last month, man, we've been really running good. Just nothing to show for it. But the Dodge dealers, UAW Dodge Charger was fast tonight. I just hopefully the bad luck was in my car, and the 9 and the 10 will be good for the rest of the night.
Are you worried about their engine packages? You told me the 9 is exactly like yours.
The 9 has the exact same engine I have in it, so hopefully his will last all 334 laps. He doesn't need any more bad luck in the chase right now. They're running good leading laps, so hopefully he can gain on the guys again tonight.
And it was a broken valve for Elliott Sadler. Now, and is that a 2nd Roush car with an engine problem?
Looks like the 20s.
Yeah, Marty, he's headed back toward you in the garage.
Yeah.
And the caution's out. Engine problem for Jamie McMurray.
And the Panhard bar, rear Panhard bar has broken on the 38 car, looks like, after he got in the wall, maybe.
Yeah, that could be the result of
contact.
The wreck.
So the caution is out. We are 7th of the night.
Right behind Jimmy Johnson. Oh, he starts that wall that got loose and comes down, and guess what? The inside wall is going to get him. Oh.
Almost looked like he got down on the apron, and that's what got him out of shape.
You know what? Pieces are flying off that car already. Is that just a piece of...
It might have been some plastic from the...
It's laying on the track itself.
Yeah.
lot of damage to that ride.
The 66 of Jeff Green is the lucky dog. Matt Kenseth raced his way back. Got a lap back, but he's still 1 lap down. Kyle Busch raced his way back onto the lead lap. He's in the 17th spot.
Okay, it hadn't been long since they pitted, but with a small fuel cell, only 14 gallons, my guess is they'll have to come back in and get some fuel. Yeah, it looks that way.
Going to be congested down there again, and you have to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Marty.
Well, Mark Martin came on the radio, said the car's not as loose as we're normally used to running it, but it's loose enough for me, but it's much better than it was. It'll be fuel only for Mark. Skidded the tires a little bit, but not too bad. Dave?
Fuel only for Jeff Gordon as well. Took on sticker tires the last time and came into him finally, Matt.
Another close call with Kevin Harvick in the 9. Fuel only for both Harvick and Casey Kane. Alan.
Fuel only for Jimmy Johnson. Has to swing out around Scott Rick's car, leaving pit road, but a very efficient stop.
Wow, 4 wide off pit road.
I think the gas man's earning his money tonight.
Boy, they are, I'm telling you.
7th caution period of the night here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. 164 laps are complete, approaching the halfway mark. The race off of pit road. You're watching the Bank of America 500 on NBC.
You are watching the Bank of America 500 from the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Speedway tomorrow night, 8 Eastern on NBC. It's a mile-high clash of bitter rivals when the Broncos host the Raiders on Sunday Night Football. And before the big game, catch up on all the day's action with Bob, Chris Sterling, and the Bus. At 7 Eastern, it's Football Night in America. Some of these guys are going to be at the tail end of the lead lap here. Sterling Marlin in the 14 car is the race leader. He did not pit. He last pitted on lap 157. So it's Marlin, Johnson, Kane, Raines, and Jeff Gordon, the top 5.
Looks like Sterling Marlin spun the rear tires when he nailed the throttle.
Looks that way. Jimmy Johnson's just itching to get around. Ooh, a little loose there. Sterling Marlin at 14, and Jimmy Johnson is going to get by him. That's Stewart down there. He's 1 lap down.
Right, and Matt Kenseth right behind him, also a lap down.
Tony Raines trying to figure out which lane to go. He's chosen Sterling Marlin, and looks like that's going to work.
We watch the leaders and check with Marty.
And Bill, Jamie McMurray's in the garage area with the second Roush Yates engine failure. Is that concern for the rest of the camp, Jamie?
Well, you know, they build incredible motors, and it seems like when you see something happen, I've seen it with the Hendrick engines at Speedway races, you know, they 1 or 2 will break. So I don't know. Doug was just over here. We think maybe it's a valve or something. They're not sure, but Greg's kind of complained about the same thing I did. So probably the same part in the engine.
All right, and Doug Gates was over here. He did evaluate the engine best he could, but the initial diagnosis is same thing that happened to Greg Biffle, happened to Jamie McMurray, a valve train problem.
People are going to get tired of talking to you, Marty.
I know, Bill. I'm tired of hearing my voice.
It's like the Grim Reaper walking around down there.
I'm just looming for someone else to come in here, Wally.
Might not have to wait too long.
Guys are single file here. So far, about 15, 20 cars back. Then it's pretty busy back there.
6 chasers run on the top 8 spots.
See Clint Bowyer back there. He ran so well earlier there in the 07 car. If he didn't hit the wall off turn 4 a couple of laps ago, he missed an awful good chance.
There's Riggs in that 10, just going around Bowyer. Dale Earnhardt Jr. inside of Jeff Gordon. This is for 5th. Range right in front of them runs 4th. by down low.
Yeah, Junior may get boxed in here, depending on where Tony Raines decides to run. But it looks like he's been running that bottom lane. That's where Junior is right now.
Wow. Oh, Mark Martin, did he move the 17 up out of the way? Or did 17 all of a sudden just jump out of the way?
I think he needed to jump out of the way or he was going to get moved out of the way.
I got you.
So the answer, Benny, is yes. Boy, this Raines is impressive.
Yeah, he's having a good run on that DLP car tonight. They've been...
And here comes some of that bump drafting, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't think you want to do that here, but Junior, like I thought, got boxed down on that low line. So what's he saying about that A car, Alan?
Well, continues to talk about just getting a little help turning in the center of the corner. The front end grip tends to go away as the night and the laps go on in this race, and they continue to try and stay ahead of the track with their adjustments. Marty?
Alan, the revived Mark Martin is trying to get around Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the inside. The car has really been good in the second half of the race here. Mark says it's just a little bit loose, but obviously he's fast when he's moving his teammate out of the way and trying to get around that 8 car.
You know, Mark has not won this year, and if you were going to pick a track and he was going to run one race to win, Dover might be up there, but I think this would be the place.
He loves this racetrack. He has said several times this is the finest racetrack, finest speedway in the world. Man, these guys are trying to wreck, aren't they?
It looked the same way too last night, didn't it? Like almost every time. Look at that. Mark Martin, 4 times a runner-up in the championship standings. Right now leads by 2 points.
Hey, but it's a lead.
Yep. Just a little bit past halfway. Bank of America 500. An update on Kyle Busch from Allen.
Yeah, Bill, remember back at lap number 78, Kyle Busch got tagged for speeding on a green flag pit stop. He lost a lap, serving the penalty, fell back to 28th place. Eventually on a restart, got ahead of the race leader at the time, caught a break. When they cycled through a set of green flag stops, had a very fast race car, put a big gap on that leader, then caught a caution to come back around and rejoin this race. He's moved all the way back up to 7th spot on his radio just before that last restart. The words, "Let's go win this thing."
How about that? Well, Jimmy Johnson's teammate might have something to say about that, because that 48 car is absolutely flying around the speedway.
Jimmy Johnson has 22 career wins. 5 of them have been right here at his house, the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
I lost grip big time. Clear, clear. Still clear. Still there, still there, still there. Clear, clear. Outside, outside. Outside corner, still out there. Outside, clear high, clear all around. Clear.
Just got the 2 car, got the 19 and 6 laps.
Exclusively at your Yamaha dealer. For a limited time, get special low financing on a store.
Clear.
We can take a big chunk out of that point deficit and get right back in this thing. If he can keep this up for the next 100 and change laps, he's got a chance to take a big chunk out of that deficit.
10 races here, 9 top 10s, 7 top 5s, and the 5 wins.
Junior seems to be losing the handle just a little bit on that 8 car. He's moved back to the 6th position. And Carl Everett's trying to take that away, Alan.
Yeah, but while he's trying to take that away, VP, and he's been very fast in this last segment of race, he's also on the team radio telling his crew chief, Wally Brown, he's got a big vibration in the car. Remember, we just talked about 2 engines from the Roush Yates program have already had troubles tonight. We'll hope this isn't a 3rd for Carl.
Sure looks like he was right behind the 8 car of Earnhardt. He's still going.
Yeah, it's just vibrating everywhere. You don't see any smoke, do you? No.
Same thing that we heard on the radios from the 16 and the 26.
Yeah, like I said, we said earlier, when it vibrates, it just gets worse until it breaks or something falls off the car.
Carl runs 7th. Had so much success last year, finished in a tie for 2nd in the chase, but has not been to victory lane this season in the Nextel Cup Series. That's his car owner, Jack Roush. Already seen 2 of his cars retire to the garage tonight. Carl's last win came at Texas.
Both of the Penske cars have been in the garage. You're going to see Kurt Busch in the 2 car is coming back on the speedway, going down pit road to.
And what did Matt say it was on the 12? So they had
something in the rear gearing was leaking. Some of the fluid was leaking out of the rear gearing.
When Ryan Newman spent a lot of time on pit road. Well, guess what's coming up? More pit stops. Jimmy Johnson is the leader on the track by 0.7 of a second over Casey Kane.
Real nice rhythm right there. Nice rhythm. June, still inside. Clear. Clear.
Laps to a pit. 6 laps.
10-4.
Marty.
And Bill, the green flag stop start. Tony Stewart on pit road. The car a little bit too tight for Stewart. Then make an air pressure adjustment. 4 tires. These guys have really struggled tonight, but they've been getting the car progressively better throughout the evening.
Sterling Marlin also made a pit stop in the 14 car, and I heard Chad Canal say 4 laps till Jimmy Johnson comes on the pit road with that 48 car.
Johnson, Kane, Gordon, Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 5 chasers running the top 5 spots.
Is that Casey Kane taking a trip down pit lane?
Matt.
And Casey Kane's team working with Sterling Marlin's team, so that way they wouldn't have an issue of pitting at the same time. Kane making his way to his pit stop. Casey says the car, from the time he makes his entry down to the white line, the car has just gone to the tight side. They're going to make another track bar adjustment. 4-tire change this time for the 9 of Casey Kane. Nate?
And Matt Kenseth's crew is going to make no chassis adjustments, but a 4-tire change. And another Roush car. He's been complaining about a vibration. He doesn't know what it is. He has not said anything about the motor. Alan.
Scott Rich's team calling for a 4-tire change on the 10 car. Trying to do that as efficiently as possible. Riggs leading early in the race, fell back in traffic after had a vibration and needed to take 4 tires on a stop when most others just took fuel. He's still trying to get back to the front. Matt.
AB twice. Kevin Harvick has gone to victory lane in night races, trying to make it number 3, but he's lost some spots 2 different times. They're going to make a track bar adjustment again, trying to work the tightness out of this 29 car. They called an audible on the last stop, went 4 tires. They're going 2 this time. Marty?
Matt, Mark Martin told us, guys, we need to keep being aggressive with these changes. It's gotten much cooler as the evening has gone along. In Charlotte, traditionally a very sensitive racetrack to the weather. A little bit too tight for Mark. Pound that left rear tire and a round up on the track bar. Alan?
Haven't caught any more conversation from Carl Edwards on his team radio about that vibration. They're going to pit here for tires. Be a 4-tire change for the 99 car, and we expect the leader on pit road in a moment. Dave?
Jeff Gordon in right now. They will make a 4-tire change for Jeff. His car was a little bit tight. They didn't want to make any major adjustments on it, though. Jeff was happy the way it was coming around. Alan.
Jimmy Johnson is on pit road. Nice stop last time on pit road. Got him the lead off the exchange of stops. Going to be a 4-tire change here and a chassis adjustment for the 48 car. Jimmy's front end grip a little bit lacking as that run went along.
Good pit stop. Great pit stop of these guys.
Johnson heads back out. Did it look like on the 29 they dropped the lug nut on that rear tire?
Looks like something happened on the rear tire, yes.
Earnhardt Jr. on pit road. Alan?
Yeah, this will be a 4-tire change as well, Bill. A lot of these guys thinking ahead. Take 4 tires here. You might have to take fuel only or just 2 on a couple stops down the road. Set yourself up to have track position at the end of the race. You see Earnhardt Jr.'s crew around to the left side as well. Dave?
Jeff Burton's taking 4 tires. Again, another pit stop for these guys. More pit stops, smaller fuel cells. The team's just trying to keep their rhythm up all night long so they can keep their cars in contention. Burton's off pit road.
Just hold your breath, waiting for the speeding penalty to be handed out.
Well, a lot of guys that have been coming in have been smoking the tires right before that line. And you just got to be real careful. The thing is, you got to be careful about locking those tires up if you're only going to take 2.
That's right, because you flat spot the tire and you need to change it. Alan, 07 coming to you.
Got Clint Bowyer here, and he is out of fuel. That car has coasted in, not under power. So they'll try and get the fuel in it, and he will try and get it refired. Can't get it going yet. They'll change all 4 tires, and then they'll have to try and push him away. But because he's pitted so far down towards turn 1, he doesn't have an awful lot of time for them to get it fired. There it goes. It's just caught now, and he's slowly, haltingly grinding away.
But just see, and it's tough getting running. That cost him at least 8 seconds, 9 seconds on that pit stop.
It's still costing him. Casey Kane, your race leader. 07, Clint Bowyer. Too fast entering pit road. So if he was out of fuel,
he had no idea how fast he was going because his engine wasn't turning over.
Alan?
And the problems continue to mount. He has no first gear in that car either, which is why he was chugging away from the pit stop.
I can't tell how fast I'm going.
Exactly. You check your pit road speed by first gear. If that's what he did,
right,
he's got no idea how fast he needs to go down pit lane.
And I wondered about him brushing the wall with the right side, and obviously that was not the case.
But he got pretty close.
Right side still looks really good.
See, he was unclear on what he was supposed to do.
Right.
Just have to do a pass-through penalty for a speeding ticket. Earnhardt Jr.
takes a 6th position away from Sterling Marlin. Mark Martin still has the cars run. Points leader.
And look at that. Top 9 within 140 points. 125 to go here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Casey Kane is out front, and it's Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, Mark Martin, and Junior.
No, I got
clear. Front tires, left front, into the center. 10-4. Yeah. 10-4. Feels like the right foot's digging in the track. Four.
how it goes. I'm okay right now, but I don't think I can have that same adjustment, much more than that same adjustment.
We can come back on that a little bit.
Clear.
Buddy, the fastest car on the track is the 24 car. He's 2 seconds behind us.
Richard Childress came on the radio and said the 07 is experiencing the same issues. Just stay out and run as long as you can.
And the 07 has gone to the garage.
Right, to change the transmission.
Right. There's Johnson, your race leader, by a second over Kane. Then it's Gordon, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. Jimmy Johnson has run well, but has not had any luck recently. In fact, 10th is his best finish in the last 9 races, and only one top 5 in his last 17 races. That was the win at Indianapolis.
But it hasn't been because they haven't been running good.
Exactly right. And now you wonder, is this going to be the race they're finally going to get the payoff, or is something else going to happen to them tonight?
Because it always happens. At Kansas, it happened with 4 laps to go. At Talladega on the last lap.
Yep. Let's go ahead and find out how you voted in our singular race talk question. On board with Jeff Burton, running in the 8th position. Your thought on night races? 70% of the people saying there should be more of them.
Were you right or wrong on yours?
Oh, I was right.
You were?
Yeah. Least percentage on there.
Well, we're tied for 2.
Yeah,
were you D?
I was B.
Oh, you were B?
Yeah.
Hey, BP.
Yeah.
Do me a favor.
Oh, by the way, hey, down in the truck, please, cue the duck. Let's see what kind of interesting stuff the Aflac duck has for us.
Aflac trivia question. Who was the only chase driver without a top 10 finish at Lowe's Motor Speedway?
Denny Hamlin. Answer is?
Kyle Busch.
What?
He has not had any success here.
Well, he's running 6th currently.
In the 5 Charlotte races, 38th, 39th, 25th, 34th, and 32nd.
Wow.
But Kyle right now is running 6th, and everybody is chasing that car, Jimmy Johnson, at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Side, still outside, clear.
Man, keep digging, keep digging. Let's try to get a little bit of a lead back. You're doing awesome.
Car back bumper. Clear low.
Nextel. Get closer to the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series with Nextel, only from Sprint. By Miller Lite. For great taste, there's no debate. Miller Lite, always a good call. By the Principal Financial Group. We'll give you an edge. And by DLP Technology from Texas Instruments. HD TV doesn't get any more real than this. Jimmy Johnson is the race leader. 228 laps are complete. A little over 100 to go. Let's go through the field. Here's Hamlin.
And our little chat about the leader, Jimmy Johnson. Bill, who is trying for his 6th win at this racetrack. We talked earlier about what this might do to get him back in the championship. Something I haven't talked about yet, but really needs to be pointed out. His pit crew tonight has been superb with their stops. I think they've gained positions just about every time, or at least held their position. Matt?
And Casey Kane, trying to chase down the 48 Johnson, was asking his spotter, his cousin Cole Kane, where the 24 of Gordon and where the 48 of Johnson were running. He told him right down on the white line, just like you. His car still on the tight side, talking about pushing in a spring rubber, Dave, on the stop.
24 of Jeff Gordon, aero tight. What happens is Jeff's car runs pretty well up until he's about 8 car lengths behind Casey Kane. Then at this point, Jeff radios in, the car is very, very tight. Nonetheless, it looks like he might be able to get around him if he can get through some of this lap traffic.
I talked with Wally Brown, who is Carl Edwards' crew chief, just after the last pit stop. I asked him if the vibration was still there or if it went away. He said it went away with the pit stop, though they could not find a cause for that with the tires that came off the car. Edwards running some very fast lap times. And fast lap times as well for Kyle Busch in the 5 car, who's recovered all the way up to 5th. Kyle talked earlier this weekend about having a good car. His crew chief, Alan Gustafson, saying, we've got a good car. If we can have some luck tonight, maybe we can win this thing. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. just spoke with Tony Eury Jr., his crew chief. I said, you've moved back up a little bit. He said, well, car's okay. Need a little more front-end grip. Try to set our tire strategy up for later in the race. Right now, they're hanging in 6th place. Marty?
Alan Martin started the weekend by saying, now it's time to get down to business. I'm at my favorite racetrack here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. And he has one of his best cars, too. It debuted at Indianapolis, ran at Michigan, ran at Kansas as well. And in all those races, never finished worse than 5th. Right now, heading towards another top 5, just outside in 7th. Dave?
About 15 laps ago, Jeff Burton radioed in that he was really, really struggling with his race car. He has called it twitchy. He has said it is very touchy with the wheel. When he tries to turn it, it wants to turn too much. Not happy right now, Matt.
Sterling Marlin in the 14 car, 4 tires on his last stop. He's only had 1 top 10 finish this year, and that was back at Richmond in May. His car tight most of the night. Meanwhile, the run continues for the 96 of Tony Raines, talking about pushing a spring rubber in the right rear on the next stop. The car way too tight. He's running in that 10th position. Bill?
Thank you, Matt. There's Denny.
Yep. Now he is up to 30th spot. He was at, what, 41st, right, at one time, BP?
41st. After the second lap crash, he was 41st. He has gained 33 points. Now, that's pretty impressive, getting back on the racetrack.
And Ryan Newman is off the track in front of him while they work on issues with the 12 car.
Oh, Gordon. Yeah, 9's coming in.
This can't be
just come in?
No.
What's up with the 9 car? This can't be right, Matt.
It sure is, BP. Scheduled stop for Casey Kane. Not getting quite the fuel mileage that some other teams are getting tonight. The Dodge boys up on the wall. Now, Casey said the car had been tight most of that run in the previous. Want to make a little more significant change this time. Watch to see the right rear tire changer push in a spring rubber. Also air pressure change. And Tank Probus gets it full of fuel. He's away 7.8 seconds. AB?
Well, Scott Riggs really kind of fell off the radar in this last stretch of the race, falling all the way back to 19th spot. His team director, Rodney Childers, telling me the car was loose in. That means when he gets in the corner, he really can't turn the steering wheel because the back end wants to break grip. The only way you can fix that from behind the wheel is to let off the gas and go more easily into the corner. 4-tire change here, hoping to make some adjustments on this 10 car, Dave.
Matt Kenseth got back to the 1-lap down status, but the problem has been leader Jimmy Johnson putting more cars laps down. He's been unable to get in position for the lucky dog, so he continues to struggle. Car not handling, wedge adjustment this time, 4 tires. Matt.
Kevin Harvick, fourth in the championship standings, makes his way to his pit box, right side tires. This stop, also another track bar adjustment. The car's still tight. Putting sticker tires on this stop for Harvick. Almost stalls it, leaving his stall. Remember, he does not have third gear, has transmission issues. They're just wondering, AB, how long he'll be able to survive tonight.
Pretty solid run from Robbie Gordon in the 7 car who comes down pit road here. Back in the race in May here, Robbie started 41st and raced his way all the way up inside the top 20. Tonight he started considerably farther forward than that. In 19th position, he was 11th just before this pit stop. This team has made great strides in the second half of the season, announcing this afternoon they will switch from Chevrolet to Ford for next year. Marty?
Tony Stewart trying to get his car a little bit better. It's also gotten tighter the longer they run on every stop tonight. They talked about a 2-tire change here, but they're going to go with 4, usually the conservative route that Greg Zipadelli likes to go with. They go with an air pressure adjustment, trying to loosen up cars for Tony just a little bit, maybe.
And Jimmy Johnson gives up the race lead to come down pit road for a stop. I mentioned earlier his crew's been very solid all night. Another chance for them to shine here. Of course, now getting into the later stages of the race, not the time you want to have a mistake on pit road either. Got a wrench in the back for a chassis adjustment on the 48 car, and they're going to come around and make this a 4-tire change. Marty?
Alan, a long stop for Mark Martin. They had a lug nut fall off the right rear, taking a very long time. Mark is revving the car. I'm surprised they didn't change it to a 2-tire stop. Instead, it'll be 4 tires for Mark, and they lost a ton of position here on pit road, Dave.
Jeff Gordon's crew trying not to let that happen for him. They also will change 4 tires. No chassis adjustments for Jeff right now. Again, his tight condition only because of the aero condition when he gets behind other cars. Jeff Burton struggling very much. They warned him coming down pit road. They busted 2 of your teammates for speeding. Don't speed coming down pit road. 4-tire change for Jeff Burton. Also in Casey Mears. He will take on 2 tires only, try to gain some track position. Matt.
On the 31 stalls. 31's going to lose a bunch of spots here. They're trying to get it running. They're pushing it down pit lane, trying to fire that thing, trying to jump start it. It will not fire.
A lot of congestion on pit road. Kevin Harvick in the 29, speeding on entry the last time by. You see his teammates pushing. We got a crash.
Ooh, hard. Mark Martin hard in the wall. Robbie Gordon involved. Yaley involved.
Oh, man.
Mark Martin right now is 2nd in the championship standings.
He expected this last week, not this week.
Right. Thought this would be perhaps his night.
It looked like he was going to have a terrific finish tonight, but...
And I'll tell you what, that saved Jeff Burton. I mean, he may have went a lap down, but he could have went 2 laps down.
They got him off of pit road finally.
Pat Trost is upset with J.J. Yaley, I guess. That's pretty slick to acknowledge the crowd.
Thanking the fans. Let's go back and take a look.
Well, it looks like Yaley decided to come down into pit lane and didn't let everybody behind him know. And I mean, took out 2 good race cars. I mean, I don't know if he ran out of gas and decided that he needed to get down pit lane right then, but even if you're running out of gas, you got to watch what's coming in your mirror. I mean, Mark went in the wall about the worst angle you can hit.
That was an unbelievably hard blow by that 6 car.
Your spotter's got to be helping you there too, doesn't he?
Yeah, your spotter's got to be helping, but look how fast Mark is going. All of a sudden, something happens with Yaley, and he decides he's going to go down a pit lane. You can't do that. You can't just decide I'm going to come down a pit lane when you got guys running behind you 170 miles per hour. You got to pay attention to what's around you.
Mark was 8th at Talladega, 3rd at Kansas City. But we'll have a very poor finish here tonight at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Under caution in the Bank of America 500, Earnhardt Jr. is the leader.
Nothing yet. They still got the red flag out, but they got the race car moved. I would assume they'd put the field on the racetrack, and pit road should be open this time, although they haven't said anything.
You're going to want something to drink. Got the free pass, I believe. It's open. Do not pit.
Five away. Right here. Good job. What's my water temp?
200 even.
Tip 4.
Here, boys. You guys have been doing good all night. Get her back in. Get the tank back.
I'll be ready to push him out of here. I only have 4th gear, so we got to push him.
All he had to do was beat the leader to the start-finish line.
Yeah, 10-4, except for there was a couple of guys that hadn't stopped yet, so I think we're a lap down. We'll see what the all shakes out. We were going to be 2 down if they didn't.
The 4th gear, 2100.
Out the window, that's the best thing you can do, but it's hard to wave somebody off.
And being a nighttime race makes it even worse as far as visibility, Dave.
And guys, I was going to ask you, Wally, I mean, hand out the window, what else can be done? Is there anything else that we need to do to make sure drivers can see other drivers who are going to make moves across the track like that?
White gloves. On a night race, like BP said, the best thing you can do is wear white gloves, and that helps the drivers to see. If you have a dark pair of gloves on, it's almost impossible to see.
Casey Kane on pit road, Matt.
Casey Kane, white gloves, also telling his team to pull a tear off the windshield. One of those cars still in the lead lap. They decided to pit. Wasn't sure if he ran through debris. Also going to make a chassis adjustment to try to tweak this number 9 even more.
Service complete. Kane heads off of pit road. 88 laps to go. Marty.
Bill. Mark Martin has come from the Infield Care Center. First of all, was the 18 waving as far as you could see?
You can't see in those cars. I don't know. Thank Humpy and Bruton Smith and God for soft walls. I'm having fun. Championship is not really something that was meant to be for me ever. Probably isn't this year, and it's not going to get me down. I'm having a good time, having a blast. AAA car was pretty good tonight, and Yaley came from the middle of the racetrack. He let the 17 go. I hadn't seen it, but from my viewpoint, he let the 17 pass him on the inside, and I was coming too, and I didn't know he was going to pit. He was up on top. He was in the middle of the track.
Are you sure you want to be so pessimistic? I mean, there's a lot of guys having problems tonight, Mark.
I don't know. I haven't seen nothing. I'm having fun. All right?
That's a good attitude to have about it. Here's the replay, Mark. If you want to see it real quick, gets a handshake from Jack Roush.
It's not far enough back. It needs to be from my windshield. That doesn't capture it. He's already made his commitment to come down across the racetrack at that point. But it's just one of these things. Matt just passed him on the inside, and he was up in the middle of the racetrack. And usually when I pit, I get on the inside of the racetrack and then come off. But that's one of those things that happens. We had brand new tires. We were coming probably faster than they knew, or his spotter knew, or whatever. We were on brand new tires. We were rolling.
I'm glad you're still having fun, though.
I'm having fun.
All right, he's keeping a positive attitude about it, Bill, but obviously very disappointed.
Maybe blinkers would help.
No, because guys like you wouldn't use them.
Put the right blinker on.
His last ride for Roush at Charlotte.
I believe the 1 and the 40 will have to line up on the inside. Leave the outside to the rest of you guys, the 24, the 43, the 48, and the 5.
Leader lining up.
He's going to be behind the, I think the 25, is that right, Earl? I can't really tell right now. Going to be behind the 14 car. He's the last car that's tail end of the lead lap. That's spots behind you.
We pitted. He just stayed out.
He was the first of the leaders.
Yeah, I just remember seeing him come down pit road when pit road was closed. So I was trying to figure out if he's going to tail in the longest line or what. So I know exactly where we're going to be positioned at here.
He definitely pitted when pit road was closed.
Lap race. 334.
Car go by, and just as Carl was leaving pit road, so there you go.
Timing is everything.
Timing is everything. not only in life, but also Nextel Cup racing.
11 cars are scored on the lead lap. There you see the guys that have run up front tonight. Jimmy Johnson, Casey Kane, Earnhardt Jr. been very strong. Scott Riggs was that pole sitter. Scoring has Carl Edwards, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Casey Kane, Joe Nemechek, Jeff Gordon, the top 5.
5 o'clock.
Make sure you get yourself stuff to drink there, bud.
Two laps down. Man, the field's got lapped a lot, huh? Yeah, there's like 2 laps down, start at 12.
Coming to 1 to go, guys. Coming to 1 to go.
$2,100.
This too as well. 1 down low also. Trying to watch out. I can't take off.
He's aware.
All right, 2 away. Here we go.
Coming here outside there.
I'm gonna have to kill you.
And this time, there's only one way out.
Is trying to squeeze around you, but keep it down for him.
Hey, stars off. You ready?
All right, boss.
Cars on the lead lap just a moment ago, and when they got the 1 to go, Earnhardt Jr., Harvick, Kane, all topped off. This is when it usually gets ugly.
I was going to say, when the caution comes out, these guys will all get their lap back.
And Casey Mears, 42, evidently did not get a good start because the 99 just blew by.
Now, he did get a good restart. He went to the outside, but the door got shut. He had to get on the brakes. So that's what happened. He lost a spot doing that.
There's Edwards. He leads.
Oh! Almost in the back of his teammate in the 17 car. That inside line did not go as Carl expected, and Mears, 42, goes back by him. Here comes Burton, 31 by the leader to get a lap back.
And that Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car is in second, so that's the race for the lead. Caution came out in the middle of a pit stop sequence. That's what puts guys on the tail end of the lead lap. Kasey Kane in that 9 car is third.
Now, Carl had 4 new tires on his car, so his car is probably going to be squirming for a couple of laps for the 31-42. Their tires were probably up to pressure. They had a couple laps on them before the caution flag.
But he'd also like to get by these guys. He'd like to keep these guys a lap down. Who's that, Jeff Burton? Slid up?
Yep, skated up the track.
He'd like to get by these guys and keep them a lap down like Jeff Burton, because he knows these guys are fast, but if he can keep a lap down, it's going to be good for him. Whoa. Sparks coming off, looks like the 20 car. Tony Stewart.
Mears, Jeff Burton, Marlin, Vickers, Green, Stremme, Stewart, Kenseth. Trying to get a lap back.
Man, this is so scary.
You're driving hard all the time, but you're driving even harder now.
This is what you're looking at, going down into turn 3.
Kasey Kane in that 9, trying to get the lead from the 99.
Junior slips up the racetrack a little bit.
Oh, Kenseth loose in front of the leaders. They were 3 wide. It looked like for a second off turn 4.
Kasey Kane goes by.
His car looks loose too, the 42. That 99.9 again, right behind that. There's your race for the lead. Side by side. Kane has it at the line. Allen.
Carl Edwards has said nothing on his radio since this restart. He's obviously a little busy, but the nonstop chatter on the radio is from Bobby Hudson, the spotter that works with the driver up on the roof, giving Carl information on where the traffic is around him with the limited visibility out of the car. Matt?
Kasey Kane running a little higher than he has been most of the night. He's been on the bottom more than he has his usual place up top. He's worked his way into the lead. Remember, they made that spring rubber adjustment. It has helped the race car really come to life more than it was. The May winner back out front.
It doesn't look like Carl Edwards can run that high line. He's trying to get underneath the 42. He's trying to get behind the 42. Casey Mears close enough where he can loosen him up. He doesn't want to get in the high line.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I said, why in the world would he dive to the outside like Burton has, like Kasey Kane? Evidently, the 99 just doesn't work well up there.
Junior trying to close in on Edwards.
I'm surprised Junior hasn't gone to the top yet, because normally he'll start working that top. See if he can get by a guy.
Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Labonte, Kyle Busch, Tony Raines. Would love to see the caution right now. Those guys all at the tail end of the lead lap.
Finally, looks like Edwards had position on him, but no. Mears closes. Well, this time the 99 goes by.
Junior would be next, Alan.
Yeah, and important to remember here, Junior's team chose to stop and top off their fuel tank with a lap to go before the restart. That restart came at lap 251. So that leaves about 80 laps to go, which if this race runs green to the finish, maybe they can stretch it into 240 lap runs, where a couple of the other guys they're racing with, the 9 has been a little shorter than that on fuel mileage all night, and Carl Edwards, the 99, did not stop and top off there.
And something for the NASCAR Nextel Cup, Kasey Kane, the 9 car, has lapped Jeff Burton, who is the current leader of the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup. So caution flag comes out. He will not be able to get that lap back, and Burton would be back in the 10th position.
But he would be the lucky dog as of at this moment.
That's correct.
Until Kasey puts another car off the lead lap. Dave.
That's right. That's what I was going to say, Bill. And then the race will ensue as the leader passes more cars. One thing to catch you up on the problem Jeff Burton had on pit road, one of the things Scott Miller was shouting to him was that you should not have been out of fuel. They think it might have been a carburetor issue, and Jeff is making sure before restarts or before he lets the RPMs in that car go down at all, that he really revs the engine to clean it out and make sure that the carburetor is sending the fuel through correctly.
There's the race for second. Edwards, Earnhardt. Stremme is in 17th. He is 2 laps down in that 40 car.
Stremme, that 40 has been fast tonight, but once again, it's all about timing.
Just 70 laps to go, and so many factors are going to play into determining the finish of this race. The Bank of America 500, where Kasey Kahne leads.
Sleeplessness.
See it now.
Pull on loose ends. We'll tighten you up.
One.
Fluid though, no fluid.
All right, I'm standing right next to a spotter. Laps to go, 65.
All right, the car was really good. Now,
Cool October evening at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. To the track, here's our Miller Lite track back. Putting the lights here.
Yes, when they installed this light system back in 1992, it was a marvel how they used mirrors to reflect the light onto the speedway and make it look almost as bright as daylight, but not quite.
Nobody thought they could do it, but it has become the trend.
Boy, this has been quite a battle, although
Yes.
it's not for position. Kasey Kahne has been doing everything he can to get around the 17 of Matt Kenseth, who's 2 laps down.
And the big winner in that battle was Jeff Burton.
Right. Because he came up the 31 car and passed them both, Kasey Kahne and the 17 car, and is just about to pull away. Kane is a little bit faster, but his car like we talked about, the 99 doesn't like the outside. The 9 doesn't like the inside.
Yeah, he just can't quite pull the pass off. He's been side by side with Matt 7 or 8 times now, but he just can't finish the pass. This is where he needs to finish it right here, getting off the corner. And he does.
An update on the 17 car. Dave?
Just real quick, Bill, they had a vibration earlier. I reported, I checked in with Robbie Reiser before the last caution. He said it had gone away. So they've had a lot of problems tonight, but at least that problem apparently is no longer apparent. Alan?
With the smaller capacity fuel cells the cars are using here, the 14 gallons instead of the normal 22, the pit stops come at these crew chiefs very rapidly. Carl Edwards and his crew chief, Wally Brown, already talking about the next adjustments they'll make to their car. Car looking for a little help with the speed through the center of the corner, and they're already maybe just 10 laps away from another pit stop.
And if they're 10 laps away, they're not going to make it, Alan, right?
No, that's the whole trick. To Dale Jr. topping off. Do they have enough fuel mileage to stretch that out? But Carl's team made the call. Look, we're 88 laps from the finish. No way we can run 2 44-lap runs. We won't come down pit road and top off. We'll have to stop twice no matter what.
See how it plays out. Robbie Gordon has returned to the racetrack in the 7 car, and so has J.J. Yaley.
Caution is out.
Caution is out for debris.
Debris on the front.
All right. Now that puts now 10 cars on the lead lap, 11 cars, because who's the lucky dog? 25.
It could be. We'll wait until we get it officially. And BP, as usual, all over it. Brian Vickers is the lucky dog.
So 11 cars now on the lead lap instead of 4 that we had before the caution.
So Gordon, Johnson, Labonte, Kyle Busch, Jeff Burton, who raced so hard to get back on the lead lap, gets to come around. There you see the debris. Tony Raines. So it's Casey Kane leading, then Carl Edwards, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Joe Nemechek, Jeff Gordon is 5th. Johnson, Labonte, Kyle Busch, Jeff Burton, Tony Raines is 10th. Gonna stop here. And now everybody's gonna have to make one more stop after this if we stay green. And that would be a big if.
Some of these cars probably can run 40, 42 laps, about all they can make with this 14-gallon fuel cell.
But it seems like the window's gotten smaller.
It does, because
as the race has gone along.
Here's what's happened. It is so cool tonight that the engine tuners today put more fuel.
One more time.
Put more fuel to these cars to make up for the cool weather.
Right. And it is cool.
Yes. And Weber, if you were out there, you might even say cold.
Only when it gets below 70, BP.
I know we could ask Matt Yoakum. He would tell us if it's cool or cold.
BP?
Yes.
It is cold.
Okay, I just thought so.
Well, the guys going over the wall have the task in front of them right now. You cannot make mistakes on the pit stop, and you cannot speed. And we have seen both of those tonight on numerous occasions. Pit road is open. The field on pit road, Dave.
They talked about it. They agreed. 4 tires. Jeff said, I like it. That means the last pit stop, they will probably not take any. Matt.
Top of your screen, Casey Kane in the 9. They're going to put tires on. No adjustments. They didn't really feel like the track. Oh, a close call. Kane almost contact with a 96 of Tony Raines. Another close call on pit road again, AB.
Carl Edwards going to have to make a wide turn around Kyle Busch to get out of his pit box. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will get out ahead of Carl Edwards on the pit stop.
BP, there's only 11 guys on pit lane, and they're still trying to crash each other.
Come on, guys. We got to get you spread out a little bit so we don't have this.
Gordon, Johnson, the rest of the guys off of pit road. Watch this. Casey Kane trying to go around Tony Raines. Trouble everywhere tonight.
With so many new TV shows.
$3,800.
1100. Pit road speed starts now. Four tires and fuel, rubber in the left rear, half down left rear. 10 away. 5, 4, 3. Clear one lane. Clear all the way out. All clear. Coming to 1 to go.
Become a friend of the Foundation for all the right reasons.
Big weekend of racing. Lowe's Motor Speedway got started last night. This is coming to the finish. Matt Kenseth goes around, and Dave Blaney races on for his first win in the NASCAR Busch Series, and Kevin Harvick,
that's finally over with.
clinched the championship with 4 races to go.
Speaking of Kevin Harvick, he putt-putts off of pit road as we see the cars lined up for a restart.
Blaney, Michael Waltrip got second. It was a wild night here last night, and there you see the championship standings.
It was close.
What, 4 races to go?
Yep.
In the NASCAR Busch Series?
Yep. So the points weren't close.
So next week the cars go
was
to Memphis, Tennessee.
2
right?
weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yep. We're in Martinsville next week. And then when you and I go to Atlanta, Wally and Alan are on your way to Memphis.
All right. Have a good time.
I will.
Nice town. Beale Street. Down Beale Street.
Yeah.
Some little barbecue.
11 cars on the lead lap. And just 55 laps to go. 6 chasers run in the top 9 spots. Harvick and Kenseth are a lap down. Three wide. Kane gets away.
You know, Sterling Marlin, that 14 car, he's been pretty racy all night.
Yes, he has.
Uh-oh, boy, they're bottoming out now. Poor Carl in that 99, they got him hung up on the outside, and we know he doesn't like that.
Edwards, third.
Wow, look at that car just bottom out.
Is that the tire pressures?
I don't know. He's hitting pretty hard there on that right front.
Oh,
they got the thing way down if it's tire pressures.
Matt Kenseth in that 17. Jeff Gordon in the 24. Gordon in the 4th spot. Kenseth back in 15.
I tell you what, folks, that 24 car is not looking too bad, because at times tonight he has been really, really fast. But it takes 10, 15 laps for him to get going.
But he's in a good spot now. Not a lot of traffic up there with the leaders. Got a good feel for his car. How about the 24, Dave?
and just a little comfort zone for him right now. I talked to Steve Letard earlier today, the crew chief. They said they didn't scuff a lot of tires. Earlier tonight, they gave Jeff a set of those fresh sticker tires that were a little bit strange at the beginning of the run. This time, they put on that final set that was scuffed. Runs very well at the beginning for Jeff, so a good comfort factor right now. Alan?
I just want to point out Jimmy Johnson is back in the hunt for this thing now after that cycle. Remember, he got caught by the caution flag after the green flag pit stop, was trapped on the tail end of the lead lap. When that yellow flag came out, he came back around and rejoined the hunt. Johnson in 5th. He's done a lot of leading tonight. He's still got a pretty fast race car.
Alan,
yes?
That's the first piece of good luck he's had in about 5 weeks.
Yeah. Well, this is their house.
That's right.
They're playing with house.
He's won 5 of the last 7. Johnson runs 5th. They're all chasing Casey Kane, and there's Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2nd. 48 laps to go. Check that, 50 to go.
Subway Daytime Drama presents Reggie Busch.
I'll put these guys in McCann, or they're both lappers. Outside. Clear.
Go outside, outside. 32 is clear, clear high.
Oh, Denny, we're so proud of you.
Leader 2930. Clear, clear.
score some big points tonight here and make up for some of the troubles he's had in the chase so far. 5th and closing for Johnson now, Dave.
Jeff Burton raced by Kasey Kane on that last run back onto the lead lap. Now finds himself in a good position to finish in the top 10, Alan.
Well, Kyle Busch has had 2 ups and downs tonight, cycles in this race. A pit road speeding penalty at lap 78, got back on the lead lap from that. Then trapped by the yellow flag at lap 242 after a green pit stop. Has come back on the lead lap from that. He's running 7th, Marty.
Alan, what a terrific run for Bobby Labonte. Nice to see the 43 up front in the top 10, going for his 3rd top 10 in the last 4 races. Moments ago, he was running 6, and important to the crew, the throttle has started sticking on the 43 car, so he's having to finesse it a little bit more, and he's lost a couple of spots. Dave?
Brian Vickers has had an interesting week after winning at Talladega. He runs 9th right now, actually 10th right now, but he said, you know, all the reaction to him this week, he is okay with, because these fans are very passionate. They're passionate about those drivers, and those that feel that he didn't win correctly last week, he says, I'm all right. I just like the fact that our fans are passionate. Marty?
Dave, the 96 Tony Raines was told recently he's going to be back next year in this 96 car. Telling the team the car is still, though, a little bit on the tight side, but making the most of his short tenure in this car. Remember, Terry Labonte had a top 10 finish with it at Sonoma, just trying to, again, long laps, get more experience building for 2007. Hardy.
Matt, Joe Nemechek would love one more spot. Currently, he sits in the 11th position, and this is a race team that has not finished in the top 10 this season. They have been very good in this race, very fast on the last stop. Joe was a little too tight. They went up on the track bar and took on 4 tires. Bill?
Those are the lead lap cars. Matt Kenseth, one of the chasers, is 15th, 2 laps down. Kevin Harvick is back in 18th. Mark Martin is out of the race, currently scored 28th. Denny Hamlin is 30th. Kasey Kane and Dale Earnhardt Jr. just ran 2 of the fastest laps of the race, and everyone's trying to catch Kane and company.
Caution. Just blew up.
Championship chasers.
Not meant to be this year.
This is just a moment ago.
Yeah, you can see he slowed down right away, and that's big.
That was big, wasn't it?
See, he's slowing down right before he got to the start-finish line. And
I know it's terminal.
That looked ugly, Dave.
Pipe, so.
3 words, blew up, guys.
Well, Dave, at least he did it in front of the crew, so they knew. He didn't have to tell them. They knew all about it.
No, they did, absolutely. And that's a big shame for him, because we were just talking about the fact that he hasn't finished the last 3 Lowe's races here at Lowe's, and still a championship contender. Came in only 140-some points out, was in 7th position, and still had a shot. This is going to hurt.
Yep, yeah. Came in 147 back, and now is 128. Sorry, Wally.
No, just because that's what we talked about earlier. I mean, this is one of those races that it's going to be tough to climb yourself out of that hole when you're in that 7th, 8th, 9th spot and you have trouble tonight with only 5 races left in the chase.
Because there's so many guys in front of you, too.
Yeah, that you have to leapfrog over to get to the front.
Well, everybody can make it from here. Pit road will be open. So this might be the last chance you have to make your car as good as it can be. And you have to do it without making a mistake. Kane leads the leaders to pit road, and Carl Edwards almost ran into the back of Earnhardt. Dave.
And the guys that took 4 tires last time now feel like they have the option. Do I take no tires? Do I take 2? Jeff Burton's crew is saying they are going to take 2 tires, try to give him some extra grip for this last run. Matt?
Fuel only for Casey Kane. Look for a half round up in the track bar. Keeping a close eye on 96. No issues there to AB.
Dale Jr. told his crew, get me out first. I might be able to do something here. Right side tires only. He gets out ahead of Carl Edwards. Jimmy Johnson was going to take fuel only, though.
Beats him.
Johnson beats Kane. There's Jeff Gordon back in the garage, out of the race. But is he out of the chase? Currently 9th, 162 points back with just 5 races to go.
All right, Roy.
Ten away. 5, 4, 3. Clear 1 lane, clear all the way out. All clear.
24 car blew up.
4, he's out. We can't get the spot, but he's out.
Yeah, 10-4, still means well.
We've got 3 laps until we pass the 6. The 18 is out. We're 22 laps behind him. Coming to 1 to go here. Those probably be the only 2 spots we get. Right now we're 30th. Should get those 2 spots. Should end up 28th here. Got like 12 cars behind you. Coming outside.
The car Jimmy Johnson drives is unfortunately in the garage area. Jeff, any indication there the engine was going to let go?
No, not at all. I mean, you saw what kind of race car we had. That DuPont Chevrolet was unbelievable tonight. And, you know, track position is so important right now. The tires are so hard that when you get behind other cars, you really lose the nose. So we were just, you know, sitting there in, what, 4th, 5th position, and things are going well, waiting for that next pit stop and, you know, maybe free the car up just a little bit for traffic. But it's unfortunate. We pride ourselves on our engine, you know, department. Those guys, I put them up against anybody out there. And, you know, it's just not meant to be for us this year. It's unfortunate. Glad to make the chase and from here on out, we just try to win races.
It's unfortunate also because Martinsville's coming up, and that's probably your best racetrack in the chase.
Well, yeah, I mean, we needed a solid run here tonight. We had that, but we needed a solid finish as well. And, you know, take some momentum to our Homestead test and then also into Martinsville. And, I mean, we're going to still have a lot of fun here at the end of this season because these cars are driving so good. You know, I couldn't be more proud of all the guys, Steve and all the guys. They made great calls, got our track position from way in the back, and we got fortunate through most of the race, and then, you know, unfortunately that happened.
I did ask him about Jimmy Johnson's engine package, Bill, and he said the exact same engine in his car is in Jimmy Johnson's car.
Thank you, Marty. Johnson, the race leader, 28 to go. Sterling Marlin was the lucky dog. Jimmy Johnson, fuel only.
And, you know, we saw earlier, VP, we talked about, you know, Jimmy Johnson's car looks like it's better when it gets a lot of laps on the tires. I think that's one reason they didn't change tires, because their car's pretty fast right now, so we'll see if Casey Kane can do anything with them.
Casey Kane, the 9 car, also did not change tires. Junior, back in the red 8, he changed 2 right sides, so.
And Carl Edwards in the 99 took 4. He restarted 7.
Kane was there. Boy, he's got to run now. Getting off of turn 2. Would really like to pass him on the high side.
Casey Kane in that 9 car has led 108 laps tonight. He has clinched the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps.
Was he going to leave it open?
Man, does he get a run on the outside.
Jimmy saw him there. He gonna go up in front of him and decided not to. Not maybe all Casey Kane needs right there.
I think the question now is if the 8 can get around Johnson, if Earnhardt Jr. can hang with the 9. But Kane has been so strong. There you see the championship standings as they run.
It doesn't look like anyone can hang with the 9. Because Jeff Gordon talked about the problem with Junior in the 8 car is that aero push. With these hard tires, when he pulls up behind the 48, he's going to lose the front end and slow down his speed.
And the reason that the 9 car doesn't have that so much is because he's running a different line.
Jeff Burton runs 4th, championship leader by 40. Story developing there, Dave.
Vibration, thinks he has a loose wheel. Ask the crew, tell me if you think you got them tight. Say yes. He's been having trouble hearing his crew all night. They radioed back, yes. So he's going to stay out. We'll see what happens.
Well, the 07, 29, both those team cars had vibrations with transmission.
He said it's not getting worse?
I think that's what he said.
Dave?
And BP, what you're referring to with the transmission, Jeff was told that his teammates were having transmission trouble and to baby the transmission on pit road. So they're still deciphering that, but you're right. It is a children's thing tonight to watch your transmission.
Matt Kenseth in that 17 car is 14th, 2 laps down.
I'll tell you what, that 31 might be vibrating, but it's fast.
Yeah, fastest lap. That last lap was turned by the 31 car of Jeff Burton.
Speeds at the line this time. Kane is the leader, then Johnson, Earnhardt, Burton, and Bobby Labonte runs 5th. Chasers in the top 4 spots. Kyle Busch up to 7th. Kenseth in 14th, Harvick in 18th. Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin are out of the race. Denny Hamlin is 29th. Alan?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. came on his radio, very disappointed tone of voice, said his car's lost its front end grip. The 2 tires did not hook up like they wanted it to. There was a big debate between Jr. and Tony Eury Jr. on the radio before the pit stop. The driver wanted the team to just change the left side tires. He thought when they did that earlier in the race it had worked better for them. Tony Jr., the crew chief, decided they needed to stay with their plan for right side tires. Right now, Dale Jr. is losing contact with the couple cars in front of him.
And Burton's going to challenge him for that spot. Laps to go. Casey Kane, the race leader, and pulling away. Now almost a second. Jimmy Johnson. Kane trying to sweep in 2006 at Charlotte.
outside, outside.
Clear. Here.
I don't know where to run, Junior. I really don't. Just keep your head on. You got 17 more. Find your line. Can't find a line. I need to sort of get a little help. It sort of works okay up here. But I don't know. Is it better? When the car gets tight, you're better up top. So just start running that line.
Clear.
I think this is where we'll see if Jimmy Johnson's got anything for him, because they've run long enough. I think Jimmy's car looked like it one of the better cars on long runs. So now's the time. If he's got anything, he's got to go right now.
Last time by, Kasey Kane just a tick faster than Johnson. The lap before, Johnson a little faster than Kane. AB, how about this 48? What are they saying?
They're not saying very much. Chad Kanash just calling out Jimmy's lap times to him. I was just thinking back to the Coca-Cola 600 here in May, BP. Remember how that one finished? Kasey Kane was leading. As the laps ran out, Jimmy Johnson was closing on him. Just ran out of time to make the pass and catch him. They're getting down to the final laps here. We'll see if Johnson can make another rally, and this time see if he has enough to get past him.
That time by, they ran almost identical speeds. Jeff Burton, as a matter of fact, the guy in third spot was faster than both of them. The guy in third with the vibration.
I was going to say, he's got some good vibrations, huh? How about it, Dave?
He has said absolutely nothing on the radio since the check with the crew. Remember what happened there? Scott Miller pointed to his tire changers, Joe Zielinski and Aaron Smith, and asked them, did you get the lug nuts tight? They nodded yes. That was radioed back to Jeff. He has trusted them. He drove past Dale Earnhardt Jr. and remains in third.
Kane leading Johnson. Alan talked about the finisher in May. Kasey winning, Johnson finishing second. Jimmy won at Indianapolis. Those are his only two top 5 finishes since Memorial Day weekend.
Now traffic, they're starting to catch some traffic. Don't know who that's going to, well, that didn't help Kasey Kane because he wanted to run high.
That's Denny Hamlin. Was involved in a wreck at the conclusion of the first lap of this race. His 29th, about 69, 70 laps down. What are you working on, Alan?
I just want to throw one more thing out there about Kyle Busch, Bill. We've talked a couple times about the great rally they've made, getting caught a lap down a couple times tonight. Well, on the last caution flag, they came in, made a 4-tire pit stop, went back out onto the racetrack, and Kyle ran over a piece of debris and had a flat left rear tire. So they had to come back down again under the caution, drop to the end of the cars that were on the lead lap after changing tires again. And here he is rallying his way up to 6th and trying to get into the top 5. What a drive tonight, and overcoming some big obstacles for this team.
It's a very determined racer inside that 5 car. And so young.
Yep, they've done it.
And so good.
Yes.
They have done a good job, haven't they, Wally?
Johnson trying to close in on Casey Kane with 7 to go. And we talked about Johnson winning 5 of the last 7 here. His other 2 finishes were awful. They were 2nd and 3rd.
Okay. Well, I think right now they are running time almost exact. Jimmy Johnson needs a little bit of traffic to help him catch Casey Kane. But these cars are spread out pretty good right now. Normally when you get down to this time of the race, the spotters are real good telling the cars that are lapped more down that the leaders aren't coming and they're racing. And they usually get out of the way.
I tell you, that last lap, Casey Kane, for somehow, some way, picked up 0.2 of a second.
Laps to go, this time by.
How'd he do that, BP?
I don't know.
He looked in the mirror.
Scratching my head trying to figure that one out.
5 to go. Casey Kane, 5 wins this season. Had to race so hard to get into the chase. Won the race at California. Made the chase at Richmond. He and Johnson have had some terrible luck in the first 4 races, but both of them trying to turn it around tonight.
We got to give a lot of credit to that Jeff Burton. You know, one bad finish down at Talladega last week where he had a flat tire. He was running, I think, 5th when he had the flat tire, finished 27th. But he has been just so consistent each and every week. How about Johnson, Alan?
He just got word from his crew chief, Chad Knaus, on the radio, who suggested they're running 2nd. It doesn't look like they're catching the leader. Maybe throttle back a little bit and ensure their 2nd place finish. Make sure nothing goes wrong in these final laps, trying to push it hard to catch the leader when they're not really making up any ground. Dave?
You know, Jeff, a lot of people gave up on Jeff Burton 2 years ago, including 6-year-old Robbie Richardson from Oxford, North Carolina. Sold all his 99 gear at the family yard sale at greatly reduced prices. Went over to the junior camp. Well, since Jeff got in the chase this year, a lot of his friends, now that he's 8 years old, have been giving him a hard time. And believe me, that's happening in the NASCAR world. Jeff Burton is back in a big way, and he's brought Richard Childress back in the chase.
Been a very impressive run for Burton and all of Richard Childress Racing this year. Casey Kane, 26 years old. One of the bright stars in the sport, drives for Ray Evernham. Really, a couple of weeks ago, rode himself out of the chase. But tonight he's trying to race his way right back into it. White flag, last lap at Charlotte. Ray Evernham watches.
You know, a week or two, they probably thought, nah, you know, we're out of this thing. Yep. And now they're going to look at those points after tonight and go, you know what? We still have a shot.
And we're pretty good on those 1.5 mile tracks like Atlanta and Texas.
We got a few of them coming up.
Yep.
And Homestead.
Yep. Casey Kane looking for win number 6 and trying to improve his status in the chase for the championship. Casey Kane sweeps at Charlotte.
How about that Bobby Labonte, 5th spot.
Tony Raines,
7th. Attaboy, Tony.
Good run for Nemechek, too. Those guys have needed something to turn their gear around.
And Brian Vickers comes back after the Talladega experience, gets himself a top 10.
Jimmy Johnson drives up, says, I tried, but I couldn't catch you.
Here's Matt Yoke.
And Ray, high-five the team members. their 6th win of the season, Casey's 4th night race. The way the chase started, this is huge for you and this team.
Yeah, these guys, you know, they never give up. You know, they had a good run at Talladega last week, and now to come back and sweep. They worked real hard on that car. You know, that's not the special car. That's the car Casey said was good and kept getting wrecked. But I'd like to thank Dodge and Mopar and UAW, everybody that's helped us out. It's a shame the other guys had some trouble tonight, but Casey's giving that motor a good workout in them donuts, too.
He's burning down that steam. You've got some good 1.5-mile track still left.
Yeah, you know, the Charger, when you find its sweet spot, it's pretty fast. So hopefully we keep doing that. And I said he's running up them good Mopar motor parts right now.
Unofficially, Kasey Kahne, 8th in the championship standings, 160 points behind Jeff Burton, but only 115 out of 2nd.
That's pretty neat. Driving around the racetrack, getting knowledge in the fans.
I don't think many people thought Kasey Kahne would have 6 wins in 2006.
More than anyone else in Nextel Cup racing.
Yep. There you see the unofficial championship standings.
And Mark goes from 10 back to 102 back.
Dave?
Jeff Burton hangs on to the points lead. You had a car you didn't really trust earlier, twitchy. You trusted your crew when they said they got the lug nuts tight.
Yeah, I mean, they, you know, this is a really good pit crew, and whenever they think they have one loose, they tell me. And we, fortunately, we went through the experience on Thursday of putting a bunch of tires on and had a few that shook. And if it wasn't for that, I would have pitted. But we did a good job tonight. I'm pretty disgusted with myself. Cost us a chance to win this race. I stalled it leaving the pits, and we just had to fight back from that all night. But everybody on the Senior Chevrolet did a great job. Real proud of everybody. Just a little frustrated with myself right now.
Were you working with the transmission, trying to save it when that happened?
I had trouble leaving the pits, and the only way to get out was to just give it a lot of RPMs, and doing that just seemed like it was really hard on the rear gear, and I just got nervous about breaking it, and just didn't do a good job.
But you still lead the chase.
Well, I mean, that's a great thing, surely. Still, you know, we're halfway through, and we did a nice job recovering tonight, and you know, if we can keep doing those things, and good stuff will happen. But it's a lot of racing left to go, and a lot of good teams.
Jeff Burton finishes 3rd tonight. Matt?
Nice rebound at his house. Jimmy Johnson, your 8th straight top 3 finish here. Describe tonight, because it was unique with the smaller fuel cells.
It was real hard to get racing and really to see, you know, have a chance to see what cars had what. It was all about short runs, and our car was really good on the long run, just not so good on the short run. But we got down a lap, came back from that, got back in the middle of it. I had a great night, very proud of this whole Lowe's team, and thankful for all the Lowe's employee owners and all the support they give us. I just came up a little short, but a day that we really needed to get some points back. And like you said, I'm only 146 out. I only made up 10 points, but
10 points is 10 points.
It is 10 points, and I know some other guys had some troubles, and we're going the right direction finally. We finished a race where we ran all day long, which was very important.
Jimmy Johnson, 2nd here at Lowe's. Marty?
Well, let's see. Matt Kenseth had a fender rub, a vibration. Never could get the caution when you needed it. You still finished 14th, though, and you're still 2nd in the championship standings.
Yeah, we just got lucky. You know, a lot of people had trouble. That's the only reason. You know, we'd be kidding ourselves thinking we win a championship operating like we did tonight. So we got some work to do. Hopefully we get it rolling again. We just had problems with the car right from the get-go, and we had problems really all night, everything we did. So we just got to go back to work on it, but I want to thank Carhartt for their support tonight, and DeWalt their support for all the years. Nolan Archibald, the CEO, was here tonight, and we didn't do very good for him.
Well, I know you're a little concerned about the 1.5 mile program because it hasn't been well lately, but you guys really performed well in that first half of the season, though.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong. You know, we ran good enough to probably run 10th tonight if you know, we didn't have any problems, but you know, it's not good enough to run for a championship. All the guys in chase were in the top 4 tonight, and Gordon was running up there before he blew up. So we got to do a lot better than this. You know, we got to go back and work hard at Homestead this week and figure out what we're missing and try to do better.
Matt Kenseth finishes 14th. Bill?
Thank you, Marty. Kasey Kahne won at Atlanta, won at Texas, won at Michigan, won at California, and has won both races at Lowe's this year. He's in victory lane with Alan Bestwick.
And he is getting himself refreshed and getting ready to climb out of the car and start celebrating his 6th win of the season. Congratulations, Casey. You made it look kind of easy out there as much time as you spent out front. How was it from where you sat?
We just had a great car. This Mopar Dodge dealers, UAW Dodge Charger was unbelievable all night. Kenny Francis, this whole team did a great job. I got to thank the transmission, the rear end guys. I slammed it into second one time coming on pit road, and I thought I had to have broke something. So they built a great piece. The engine was awesome, the body. Everybody at Evernham Motorsports has done a great job, and it's hard to win a race that Ray Evernham hasn't won as a car owner or a crew chief, and I think we got one tonight.
There you go. You did something that hasn't been done before. A couple of things. You had a couple close calls on pit road. There were a couple situations in the race where cautions came out in the middle of pit stops and that kind of thing. Any concerns at some point that this good car might go to waste?
Well, this car's been good 2 other times and went to waste at some point, so not really. I mean, we had some close calls. Kenny did a good job calling me in and out. It's so tough getting 2 and no tires, and these guys just did a great job. It's an awesome team. I'd like to thank Allstate Insurance, Siemens, Stanley Tools, McDonald's, Bosch, Freightliner. A lot of people are a big part of Evernham Motorsports, and we definitely thank all those people.
A real quick championship thought. Second last week, the win this week. You are 160 points out right now with 5 to go.
We're making ground. You know, we lost a lot early at the start. Things happen. We're making ground now. We're down to 160. We've cut it, you know, maybe just about in half, but it's good. I mean, we're doing everything we can. We want a top 5. We want to do everything we can, win some more races, and we'll see what happens, but I think we definitely have the team behind me to do it.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Casey Kane wins tonight in Charlotte. Dave?
With the 4th place finisher tonight, Dale Earnhardt Jr., some good fortune, and you guys move up a spot in the chase.
Yeah, I was real happy with the night. We got to lead some. Got to run good in front of my family and a lot of fans we have here in this area. So good night for us. We didn't gain on the new Iceman, Jeff Burton, but I mean, you can't break him. He's just they're there every week doing a great job, and you know, you kind of got to pull for him a little bit to win this championship. But we're gunning and trying to do what we can, and this is a good run for us.
With more 1.5 mile tracks coming up, is the Iceman catchable?
Yeah, I mean, he's not indestructible. Boy, he's doing a great job, and he's been doing it for years. So ain't like we're trying to race against a rookie here. This guy knows how to win championships. So not necessarily at this level, but I mean, he's got an idea of what it takes. So we're doing what we need to do, though. That's good. I mean, we've had some great cars during the chase, and we just ain't got to finish it. So it's been so frustrating because we should have finished 5th at Kansas and you know, at least 3rd at Talladega. But just
at least,
yeah, just ain't got the finishes. So really good just to finally, you know, get a top 5 for crying out loud.
A solid 4th place tonight for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Marty.
Dave, Kevin Harvick got out of the car and said, "Man, I am a lucky dude. Tell us why."
Yeah, we really are. We're living right for whatever reason. You know, the next last green flag pit stop, I lost 2nd gear, and you know, when I came back out on the racetrack, I lost 3rd. So the only thing I had was 4th, and it was tough to get in and out of the pits. And we never had a green flag pit stop again when that happened. So we're living right, and all 3 gears broke, and the thing's still running. So good day for the GM Goodrich Chevrolet on the luck side anyway.
If you would have had to make a green flag stop with only 4th gear, could you have done it? I mean, you'd have lost a lot of track position.
Well, we did the very last one with, I don't remember how it all worked out, but it was just 4th gear, and that's how we lost the 2nd lap there with just having to go so slow, because I couldn't really tell my pit road RPM and got a penalty the first time, and just really couldn't take off. So really lucky break for us, and we just kind of nursed it home.
And Kevin Harvick finishes 18th, 3rd in the championship standings, 89 points out. Matt.
And an impressive run by Bobby Labonte in the 43 car. Gives you some high hopes for what's left on the schedule, Bob?
Yeah, Matt, it really does. You know, we're really excited about Texas. We had a top 10 there early in the year, and Phoenix was a good run for us too. So going to Homestead this week to test like everybody else, and Martinsville is usually a pretty good place. So 3 top 10s the past 4 races is really good for us. And thank everybody on the Cheerios Dodge. Paul's been doing a great job, and you know, we've just been kind of nipping at it a little bit at a time. And you know, we still got a long ways to go where we don't have all the stuff that a lot of these other guys have. We ain't got, you know, near the technology pieces that these guys got. But you know, 1.5 million here and 1.5 million there. You know, after that we'll be all right.
Bobby Labonte 5th here at Lowe's. Bill.
Thanks, Matt. Let's see, Bobby Labonte, that equals his best finish of 2006 at Bristol, and his 3rd top 10 finish, as he said, in the last 4 races. Celebration and interviews and victory lane. We'll come back, look at the results, and talk about Martinsville. NBC, our coverage begins with the Bank of America countdown to green. Results unofficially from tonight. Kasey Kahne won the race, led the most laps, had a big night. Good finish for Bobby Labonte. Let's see, Joe Nemechek's last top 10 finish was 4th last October right here. And Tony Raines with his second career top 10 in 79 starts. Mark Martin 30th, but still 4th in the chase. For Jeff Gordon, his 4th DNF in a row at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
And Denny Hamlin finished 28th today, picked up 13 positions by repairing that car going back on the racetrack.
And those are the things, Benny, that when you get down to it, you're going to do the math, figure out how much it helped him. And there you see the championship standings. Tonight was the halfway mark, just 5 races to go. Jeff Burton has been very impressive. Go to the short track next week at Martinsville, see what happens there when we get to Virginia. Don't forget, next Sunday, the chase for the Nextel Cup heads for Martinsville. It's the Subway 500, coverage 12:30 Eastern on NBC, beginning with the Bank of America countdown to green. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's your late local news. Then stay tuned for Saturday Night Live with guest host Dane Cook and music guest, The Killers. 6th win of the season for Kasey Kahne. He sweeps both races at Lowe's. Championship moves on to Martinsville. Just 5 to go. We'll see you next week from Virginia. Thanks for having us in for the race, and good night.